Hello, my name is Christian Pedersen. I'm the General Manager for Microsoft Dynamics AX. Thank you so much for joining me for this first look at Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. This session is the first of a two-part series that is aimed at helping you better understand how to sell, position, and really promote the value of Dynamics AX 2012 R3 as we prepare to bring this exciting new release to market. As you can hopefully tell, I am very excited. Within the last 12 months, Gartner has positioned the release we have in the market today as the undisputed visionary leader in its space. And now we're coming out with yet another release. We are, of course, very, very excited, and we hope you will be too, especially after you've been following these sessions. In the session today, we will take a look at the overall value prop for R3. We'll look at the pricing and licensing. We'll look at the competitive positioning and how we fight in the marketplace against our competitors. And then, not the least, we'll take a look at the upcoming launch activities and how we're actually going to bring it to market. Because it is going to be different from what you've seen in the past. We're going to rely and work a lot more with you as our partners and our sellers in the marketplace on driving the local demand and the local excitement for this, and not only drive it as a global launch. Next month, we will have the second part of this series, and in that part, we will go a lot deeper into the strength of our industry capabilities within retail, professional services, public sector, and manufacturing. We'll also show you a day in the life of our flagship product. How companies are using it and how users are excited and how we're helping people simply do better jobs and perform better in the roles they're doing. The registration is open now for that second session, and I encourage you to sign up as soon as possible for that event also. Many of the presenters that you'll see in the sessions today, they will also be available online while you're watching the session to answer your questions that you may have. So use the chat window to ask questions, take advantage of this interactive opportunity, and let us know your thoughts as you watch this session. We all wear many hats nowadays. Just think about your day job, your family life, just to name a few. I'm going to ask you to put on one of three hats as you watch today's sessions. And if you're feeling particularly bold, you can try to wear all the three hats and really emphasize with our customers in that way. The thing all the hats have in common is that they are hats of business owners or of senior executives who are out there in the real world. They're inventing things, they're making things, building things, shipping things. They're selling real stuff to real people, and that's how they make their living. So here are the three options I'll give you. So let's look at option one. Sometimes you as a business owner, you're waking up and you feel that you're fighting for survival. Maybe you're in an industry that has been commoditized, profits have been driven into the ground. Maybe you're trying to find a new way to stay relevant and reposition yourself in the marketplace for growth. At Convergence in EMEA earlier this year, we had a couple of companies on stage with us. These companies were more than 150 years old, and they had been through many iterations of how to position themselves as a company. So they were true success stories of how you can accomplish this and really achieve constant change as you go through times. But first things first, it's time to get the ship on an even keel and point it to the North Star, and that's what these typical companies will do. Let's look at the second type of company. It's a company where things are kind of okay. The sky is not falling, but you've missed a few quarters where you haven't really achieved all the goals. You're not sure if it's an operational issue or it's an issue of not finding enough customers or whether customers don't like your products anymore. So you got to figure out, how do you address this? Do I need to optimize operations? Do I need to expand into China? Do I need to invent new products? What is the way out of this, and how can I get back to a leadership position? It's a real challenge that many companies are struggling with. They feel that it's not quite right, but they can't exactly tell what it is. Option number three, this is the company type where you are constantly struggling for leadership. You're fighting out there. You're maybe already in the first spot in your space. Maybe you're in the second spot, but you are out there and you want to win. You want to be number one. Winning in a company like that seems to require constant inhuman ability to be able to read the mind of your customers and the marketplace and give them exactly what they need, even before they realize they need it. So either you're fighting to get back on top, or maybe you're fighting to defend your crown. It's an exciting challenge, that's absolutely sure, and it's an exciting place to be at. So all these three hats and these three options, they're pretty big hats to wear, but they are real situations that our customers find themselves in and day out. We have some fantastic technologies that can help achieve all these different things. But what we're also seeing, and I'm sure what you are seeing out there, is that many organizations and companies around the world, they are not taking advantage of all these things. Our jobs to go out and partner with these customers and these companies to help them get the maximum benefits of all these technologies. Days are behind us where we need to think about customers and we go in and sell something and then we move on to the next thing. These companies really need us to be their partners. They need us to help them achieve their goals as a business, and we have a fantastic set of tools and technologies that can help them in doing that. So now that you're comfortable in your new hat, let's check in on our objectives for this event today. First up, I want to make sure that you're all excited when you finish this event today. Hopefully you're ready to go on this journey with me and your newly adopted hat, so get ready. Secondly, we'll want to hand off to some of the team here so they spent day ins and days out putting things together to help you actually be successful in front of your customers and the partnerships you're creating out there. That is the ultimate goal of my entire team here. That is to help you and work with you on creating these successes and deliver these amazing customer experiences to companies around the world. And in doing so, that will get you set up for success and give you some clear next steps to make all of this a reality with Dynamics AX 2012 R3. It's kind of a big deal when you're talking about the future of a company. A company isn't the buildings or even the products or the services it offers. A company is the people. And without people, the company is literally nothing. The people at these companies are fighting to survive, they're fighting to differentiate themselves, and they're fighting to do fantastic jobs every single day. And it's our honor to be a business partner in doing so, and I hope you feel the same way every time you're engaging with them. Let's consider some real examples of these companies. Think about the impact of what this means to the people who work in these companies and the customers of these companies. For instance, let's talk about Carrefour for a second. What happens when you have a business model that has become commoditized? As a large supermarket chain, Carrefour, they deal with many commodities. And when the leadership team, they went on the hunt for areas of competitive advantage, they identified warehousing and the way to ship and deliver goods to their customer as an opportunity to really change and get ahead of the competition. And they're now able to better respond to changes and to the demands of their customers by serving them in new ways out of their warehouses. Let's take Delta Airlines as an example. And what happens when that commoditization isn't just products you make or sell, but the service that actually makes up the core of the business? Love it or hate it, air travel has become a big part of many of people's lives, including ours. No matter what the airline, the nuts and the bolts are pretty similar. You buy a ticket, you get a seat assigned, and depending on the status you have, you get more or less choices on how you want to be serviced. But you get on the plane, you get there on time, and you get off the plane again 1 hour later, 10 hours later. But if you run an airline, how do you make this an experience to remember so that your customers, they will pick you again? How will you make sure that they will choose you over any of the alternatives? Well, Delta Airlines, the Emirates, Qatar Airways, they are all airlines that have leveraged Dynamics and really taken their service levels and their customer experiences to new levels through technology. The final company I wanted to call out here is Dell. We have all heard about Dell, and most people love Dell for a lot of the innovation they have brought through the years. They started out by delivering computers within 24 hours, which was absolutely unheard of. But in doing so, they kind of built a technology empire that was really hard to navigate through. So they had to go through significant changes and get back to agility. They had identified that adopting a very lean manufacturing principle as a strategic direction would be absolutely essential for them to get back to the pace where they could serve their customers with rapid innovation and with solid customer service. The problem? Well, their technology was holding them back. An IT environment teeming with hundreds of different apps was an inertia that prevented them from heading in new directions. They found a way, and in finding that way, they saved $50 million just in pure IT costs every year. Not even to talk about the renewed energy and the renewed ways they had to could service their customers and really provide innovation in their customer service areas. We are proud to be technology partners of companies like that. and we hope you'll be the same too for all the customers that you serve. Whether your customers are travelers, gadget lovers, whatever industry they're in, whether they are buyers, whether they're selling industrial equipment, and no matter what their product or service, at the end of the day, our customers are all focused on delivering amazing experiences to their customers. And we're in the business of helping our customers realize that goal. I like to think of us much more than a technology supplier. When we get it right and we really engage with our customers in the right way, we are truly business partners to them. We are such a critical element in them achieving their goals, and we can really be what makes it a differentiator for them. And as a devices and services company, we know that this all comes together in a great set of capabilities across all these different devices. We used to only think about our software running on desktop computers. Then people started using laptops. Now we have tablets, we have phones, and there's a constant flow of new devices coming out. Earlier this year, we even showed how smart glasses can help you navigate the warehouse much more effectively while you're actually getting directions through your glasses. We are seeing new printers come out, 3D printers that enable completely new manufacturing and supply chain stories. Be it clienteling in retail, where our Surface devices can now be a true point-of-sale device, not necessarily a separate point-of-sale device you need to buy anymore, but you use a standard Surface device for these things. On the manufacturing floor, the ability to interact with people that are working on the floor, real time, the opportunities and possibilities are endless. When we apply that broad thinking in front of our customers and really demonstrate the vision that we together can bring to the customers with Microsoft technologies, we become an essential ingredient in the success they're having and in the ability for them to differentiate themselves in front of their customers. I don't know if you're excited yet, but I sure am. This is going to be an epic launch, and it's going to be epic to get these new capabilities out to the market. And it's an absolute important step in our journey towards business solutions in the cloud. Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 is the foundation for the future that we are driving towards. And when it comes to putting all this into practice, I want you to feel super comfortable with how to do that. You need to be super comfortable when you're in front of your customers and really talk to this with the passion that it deserves. And as such, we've made sure we put together a really solid set of messaging resources. Whether you're preparing for a sales meeting, building marketing collateral, or just looking to understand what it is that makes R3 so special, we can help you, and we want to help you. So sit back, relax, and get ready to take some notes. I'm excited to invite Pepijn Richter and Moises to talk about the market opportunity, the value proposition, and what our enterprise positioning look like for R3. Remember, we're here to help you plan for your future success. So what does this path to the future look like? Take it away, guys.
Hello, my name is Pepijn Richter. I'm a Product Marketing Director for Microsoft Dynamics AX.
And I'm Moises Leon, Senior Product Manager for Dynamics AX.
Today, we will provide you with a level 100 overview of the new release, Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. So Moises, what topics do we have on the agenda?
Well, we have a lot of information to cover, but one key element that we want to address is the messaging framework and the value proposition covering 3 areas, along with really cool demos.
In addition, we have a few mystery guests as well.
That's right. Actually, he is going to showcase a really, really cool demo at the very end.
With that, we don't want to waste any more time. Let's get started. Before we start, a brief disclaimer. Why do we need the disclaimer, Moises?
Well, it is important to mention that this is a pre-released product and everything is subject to change. So we have the possibility to share some of this information, but as the teams are working on developing the product, some of the functionality and the screens might change.
So we will do some small demos, snippets. What you will see is these are community technical previews, so pre-release code. So maybe not as polished as you might expect from us, but still very cool demos. Let's set the stage with some common business challenges and trends. You probably recognize this slide. It reflects the major changes that we see in the business landscape, from economical changes to political changes to technology changes. There are 4 major technology changes. You'll see them here and you'll probably recognize them. These are not new, but these will determine the IT landscape and the use of IT in the coming decade. The interesting part of this is that these 4 trends don't only happen at the same time, but also interact with each other. And you will see that in the demos that we will give, you will see that we leverage some of the technology innovations in the R3 release today. Let's take a look at the IT environment of organizations today. And before I do that, let me clear this slide. So the 4 boxes on the left-hand side, the 2 on the left-hand side are changes in the business side of an organization. So what we see is that businesses change more rapidly than before. The attitude towards IT is different than a couple of years ago. So where business users were comfortable with long 5-7 year rollouts of IT systems, today there is an app for that mentality. So IT users expect that IT provides a solution for their business challenges within a couple of months. So they want small sprints versus long, risky implementations. The right-hand side of these 4 boxes is the IT side. So what you see is growing legacy requirements within these enterprise organizations. The little image on the right shows a typical enterprise application landscape with our customers. So you will see hubs of applications surrounded by a lot of legacy, most of them custom-built applications. At the same time, there's a changing decision maker in these organizations. So where IT was the primary decision maker over IT, what we see is that IT budget shifts out of the IT department into the business. So Gartner predicts that in a couple of years, the CMO has a larger IT budget than the CIO. So have this in mind when you take a look at the changing and a more rapidly changing business environment. So why do we start with this environment? So there are a couple of things. The first one is that we see that's important for the CIO is to actually accelerate IT leadership. So making sure that they are moving investments away from keeping lights on activities to helping the business grow and transform. If you take a look at the image on the right-hand side, a lot of the investments are sitting in maintaining all these legacy applications. So that's one. With our Microsoft proposition, so Dynamics AX on top of a Microsoft stack, we provide the CIO with an opportunity to accelerate that IT leadership. And the announcement to have a Dynamics AX on Windows Azure is one of the new enhancements in R3 that we help the CIO accelerate that IT leadership. The second one is around helping the CIO to support the business and help the organization grow and transform. R3 is the best application out there to provide the business leadership. If you take a look at the retail capabilities that we provide, it's the latest state-of-the-art capabilities for retail to help the business transform. Another enhancement that we are doing in warehousing and transportation, there will be complete new models for these two. Again, state-of-the-art capabilities to revamp your supply chain execution, helping the CIO provide business leadership. The third point I want to make with this slide is the ability for a CIO to realize business value. With the R3 release, we deliver all these capabilities in a single solution, providing a CIO the ability to rationalize all these custom-built applications and standardize on a single platform. For partners, and of course our field, there's an opportunity to first of all excel in your focus industry or domain, but secondly, expand or increase the share of wallet of your license and services providing to your customers. With that, let's take a look at the value proposition for R3.
Sure, Pepijn. What we're seeing in this slide is our Dynamics 2012 R3 value proposition. which is basically focused on how we can help organizations and customers to deliver amazing customer experiences. We are not just focusing today in delivering a solution to our customers, but we are going beyond that. We are helping organizations to deliver and reach customers in a different ways. With these three pillars today, we are going to drill down in each of these components in order to show how we could help organizations to accomplish this goal of delivering amazing customer experiences. The first one is about engage, how we can engage customers on their terms, make the purchase or support them throughout the sales cycle. The second component is run flexible organizations that could exceed customer expectations. And the third one is how we can enable or help enable organizations to expand their business or portfolio to reach new customers. So with this in mind, we are going in the next slides not only to go deeper in each of these pillars, but we are going to show really cool demos.
So Moises, what we would do when we position and message the product is to put the customers central. Is that right?
That is correct. We are going one step further in order to help organizations to think about their customers as always they do.
Perfect. What you will see later in the presentation as well is that with our customer showcases, we will put the customer achievements and their amazing customer experience to their customers central in these showcases. Correct?
That is right. We are showing some of those achievements the customers have already accomplished.
Perfect. Let's dive into these three pillars of the new release. Let's start with engaging with your customers on their terms. So what is new and how do we help our customers to engage with their customers on their terms?
This is a very powerful offering that we have today with Dynamics 2012 R3. First of all, because we are helping customers during the purchase experience. So with the first component, which is engage anytime, anywhere, we are with 2012 R3 in the position to offer the power of choice to the customers. They can either buy online, in the store, or on the phone. They can even select where the product needs to be delivered, if they want to get the product delivered to their home or pick it on the store or any other place.
So we, from a single system, we offer them the opportunity to make a choice between engagement channels in one purchase cycle?
Yes, and going a little bit further, we have the possibility to switch between these different channels during the same single purchase cycle.
So if I start my order online, can I change the order in the store or through the phone?
That is correct. Everything is on the same system, available to all these different channels for them to make the changes as the customer needs.
Cool. What else?
The second component, which is how we can help customers to get better experiences. So today we have all these mobile devices. So we offer with this release an immersive and enriched experience during the sales cycle. But in addition to that, we have the possibility to provide the right information and the right tools to the organizations for them to better serve their customers.
Nice. Can you give a few examples of what we deliver in this release?
Absolutely. We have, for example, the clienteling application, which is a powerful solution that will help organizations through sales associates to gather all this intelligence from the customer, all these insights that is available in just one system, Dynamics AX 2012 R3, and make available all this information to provide a better support to the customer, which, by the way, every time the customer comes to a place to make a purchase, comes very well informed. So by providing all this information to the sales associates or the employees, they will be able to analyze this data and provide with an amazing experience to their customers.
Cool. Then the last part.
Well, this is another one that we want to make sure that customers come back for the next purchase. So what we want to make sure is build profitable customer relationships in order to make sure that once the experience has been delivered in an amazing way, we have the possibility through the new enhancements in the loyalty programs and the customer enhancements that we have around these customer programs to have the possibility to keep the customer engaged, not only for future purchases, but for any additional reference they might need. For example, I have my wish list. We are introducing the concept of wish list in this release, and I have the possibility to share my wish list through existing digital channels, Facebook or Twitter. And once I share this information with others, others will be able to see my preferences and, of course, have the possibility to make additional recommendations or reviews about that product. If the product is good enough, if the product has any flaws, or if the product is amazing, the customer will have the possibility and all the information to get access to that information through all these social channels.
Cool. So most of the examples that you gave are for a business-to-consumer market. What are we doing for business-to-businesses in this release?
That's a really great question, Pepijn. What we can offer today is the integration between dynamic systems. With this release, we are introducing the connectivity between Dynamics CRM and Dynamics AX for organizations to start enabling collaboration between dispersed teams. For example, if a customer requests a quote, that quote could be submitted in the CRM system and replicated to Dynamics AX.
So it's using the connector between the two systems that was already available, but now we are extending that for specific scenarios in this new release, correct?
That is correct.
Perfect. With that, I believe you wanted to illustrate what you said now with a small demo. Let's take a look at the demo you brought.
Absolutely, let's do it.
In this demo, we are going to show some of the new capabilities that are part of the new online store. So as you can see on this page, we have new categories that are related to my preferences. In this case, if I've been looking for specific products, these products will be showcased at a glance for me to get access really quick to them. In this case, I'm looking for a new product that I like to purchase, so I like to make an analysis to see which product is the best one. So I have the different categories, and in this case, I'm going to click on cameras. What I can see on this page, in addition to the products and prices and information, it's the possibility to filter information out so I can select the products that I'm looking for. In this case, I will filter products by price. So I can get immediately all the products that are under the price range that I'm looking for. In this case, I'm looking for a product that fits my budget, and I have the different options to hover over the product to get more details, or just go and click right on the product. So what I have now, it's a pop-up window that not only will give me the information that I'm looking for, but I have the possibility to navigate through the different options of this product, different properties, as well as the possibility to navigate through the description and specification of the product. Which is really important to showcase on this window is the option to get these integrated with the social channels. So if I click on any of these social channels, this product will be automatically published on my profile depending on which option I select. In this case, I'm going to click back, and if I want to go and have a deeper view of this product, I just need to click on the link, and I will see the information that I was presented on the pop-up window, but as well, I will be able to see more details. For example, customer reviews, accessories related to this product, as well as some other options that is related to customers who already purchased this particular item. What I'm going to do now is add this product to the cart, which is the product that I like to buy. So you can see a pop-up window showing on top of the page, confirming that the product has been added to the cart. I have the option to check out right from here, which is what I'm going to do. I have, if I'm a registered user, I can log in with my account, but in this case, I will go and do a checkout as a guest. When I click this button, I will be sent to the transaction page. So I have the delivery preference, in this case, ship items to me. But in this case, I like to pick up the items in the store. So what I'm going to select is that option, and I will be presented with a Bing map. So I have the option to type either the zip code or the city where I'm located. And as soon as I click or I hit enter, I will be presented with the map with the nearest store available. Which is really amazing is the window that is shown next to the map with the product availability and the quantities of each of these products. The distance, so in this case, I have the option to make educated decision in this case if I want to pick up the product or go and get the product sent to a specific location. So at any time, I have the option to integrate or to connect with the social channels, but overall, this is the solution that we are bringing as part of R3 and the updated online store.
Now let's transition to the second pillar, run agile operations to deliver as promised. What you can say about this pillar?
So this is a nice transition from the previous pillar. So in the previous pillar, our customers sold products or services to their customers. This pillar is all about fulfilling that promise. So the entire fulfillment of these products and services. In this release, we are adding a couple of new modules. Demand forecasting, a completely new module for warehouse management, as well as transportation management. We are also adding a trade allowance management in this release. So these are the new capabilities that we introduce in this release.
So customers who already have Dynamics AX 2012, they will be able to expand to these new solutions in a single portfolio.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Our customers will have the ability to have an integrated suite of modules within one single system. So they can provide their customers with a complete visibility of where goods are in the entire supply chain with just a few clicks of a button.
That's very compelling. How does that happen? Is it an additional application or is it part of the system?
We will go to a demo in a few minutes. It is just part of the system. So these are modules in Dynamics AX that you can turn on or off depending on your implementation.
Fantastic. Now, if a customer wants to provide with a fulfillment experience to their customers, what do they need to do?
Of course, choose these modules and implement these modules. What we believe is these modules deliver three unique things. The first one you see here is that it will help our customers to fulfill the delivery as agreed with a customer. So with the requested service level against the lowest cost possible for that service level and deliver reliably. So that's the first one. The second one is track, change, and inform. Because it's embedded in one single system, our customers can always track deliveries to their customers. If customers want changes, they can easily change these with a few clicks on a button and, of course, inform their customers about the changes they have made without switching different systems. So from one single system and a consistent UI. The third one is that they can actually meet changing customer needs. So if supply chain processes change, if customers need different products or want to go to different markets, what you will see with the solution is that we have a module, demand forecasting, to forecast future demand based on historical demand. But the warehouse and transportation capabilities that we introduce are so flexible that we can help them reconfigure processes within the warehouses when needed. And interesting enough is that we can actually configure warehouses within the total organization from very small warehouses, more geared towards manufacturing organizations or retail organizations, to very complex warehouses in a single organization.
This is great. I know that you have prepared a really great demo, so let's take a look.
Yeah, let's take a look at the demo.
I would like to show a small business scenario using the new warehouse management and transportation management capabilities in Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. Let's take a look at the two new modules that we added. So we added warehouse management and transportation management capabilities, helping our customers accelerate their supply chain execution. Here I have the sales order form opened. Let me create a new sales order for this small demonstration. Our customer, Sunflower Shopping Mall, orders 50 HDMI cables. So let me complete this order for them. And they will be delivered from warehouse 60. So with the integrated transportation capabilities, what you can see is that we have the two tabs, warehouse management and transportation management, up here. And we can directly zoom into the available inventory that we have across the organization. So opening the inventory, we can see that there is inventory in both the warehouses 42 and 60. We can actually go in a little bit more detail, so we can actually see what kind of inventory there is per location in the warehouses, but also the partial inventory on these locations indicated with license plates. So what you see is that this capability gives you full visibility into where the products are in your supply chain. Let's go back to the sales order and let's start planning this transportation. So from the warehouse management tab, I can start the load planning workbench. From this work planning load bench, I can add this sales order to an existing load or create a new transportation load. In this case, I will create a new transportation load. I have to choose a load template, and then the system will create my load, as you can see here. From this load, I can start planning the routes and calculate the rating. I can print my transportation documents, or I can start with appointment scheduling when the truck is picking up the goods from the warehouse. For this demo, I will release the load and the work to the warehouse so that the warehouse can start assembling the picking order. You can see it's done here. Let's get back to the sales order. What we see on the sales order now is that there is actually a load, a transportation load, connected to the sales order. And whenever a customer wants to change the transportation, we can do that right off the transportation management tab here. And they can start with, again, shopping for rates and then assign routes to the sales order. Again, with a few clicks directly from your sales order, you can steer both transportation as well as the work in the warehouse. This is the power of an integrated solution.
Pepijn, this was a really great demo. Thank you. Now, let's move to the third pillar, which is expand your business. Would you please elaborate a little bit more on this one?
Yes, I would love to. Different than the other two pillars, this one is more long-term and helping customers to go into new markets, develop new products and services for their customers, or win new customers. We enable some of these scenarios in the release. So let me start with the moving into new geos. All these new capabilities that we cover today, for instance, WMS and TMS, will be available in all the 36 countries that we officially deliver Microsoft Dynamics AX in. Organizations that want to move or go into new countries can use these capabilities in that country as well. On top of that, from an infrastructure perspective, we provide Dynamics AX as part of Azure. So with that scalable infrastructure, you can easily scale up and scale down if you need to expand and grow into these new countries. In addition to that, we are introducing master data management as part of this release, making it possible to exchange key master data between Dynamics AX instances. enabling hybrid implementation scenarios. For instance, you could have a single instance implementation in the Americas, but then have local implementations in countries that are a little bit further away from the single instance implementation, and manage master data across these instances. So a really cool new feature that we introduce in R3.
So this is really fantastic. So you are saying that we have support to 36 markets, support to Azure, and in addition to that, the possibility to do master data management for those countries who require specific regulations.
Absolutely. And if you want to grow in volume or into new markets, these 3 enhancements will help you in certain situations. On top of that, we also provide new tools to help organizations innovate products and services. One of the things is that we continue to innovate in the area of business intelligence. So 2 of these examples are the number of cubes. So we extended the number of cubes available in Dynamics AX from 15 to 19. The other one is Business Analyzer. It's the latest Windows 8 app that we released for the Dynamics AX platform. And I believe that you brought a demo for that.
Absolutely. Before going into the demo itself, I like to point out that this particular application is perfect and suitable for touch devices like the Surface and the PPI devices. In this case, I'm going to demonstrate the application using my Surface device. Let's get into the demo. What we are seeing here is the Business Analyzer application, which can be downloaded from the Windows Store. Before going into the details, I'd like to mention that this application has been developed to provide with specific functionality that will help organizations to address the business insight issues that they might have while they are in the office or on the go. So during this demo, we are going to expose 3 areas that are very important in terms of business insights. The first one is how we can discover the information in order to provide with a personalized experience. The second one is how we can present and interact with this data with a better connected experience. And the third one is how we can share this information while collaborating with others in real time and just by sharing the status of the business. So let's get into the details of the demo. First of all, we have this application that has different components. We can see here the home screen, but as I swipe down, I have the option to navigate through different organizations. Then, as soon as I select one of these organizations, the experience changes completely. If I swipe down again, I have the option to select between different roles. In this case, I'm going to select one for this demo that will basically provide us with the information that we are looking for. If I swipe to the right, I have the possibility to start interacting with predetermined reports and charts that will give me the possibility to navigate and analyze additional data. So if I click on one of these reports, I have the option to update the view. Similar case with the KPIs. Have, in this case, all selected, but I have the option to filter based on the role that I am playing within the organization. In this case, I'm going to select for the projects list all the projects that are related to the role that I'm playing today. So I'm going to select one of them and I will dig into more details for this particular project. So I can see many specific details of this report, but as well who in the team were involved in terms of people who participated in this project. So I have the option to reach them by the different means like a communicator, by phone, or by email. Let me go back to the home page. I have the option to go back at any time by just swiping from the top and navigating through a different organization. In this case, one other functionality that I like to show you is how can I add some additional KPIs, and all the views that are interconnected will be updated as well. So in this case, one last thing that I like to show you is how we can continue interacting with all these reports by just dragging and dropping the information on the main view so I can continue navigating and analyzing the data. So I have the different types of categories, I have the different type of graphs so that it will help me to analyze the data based on my preference in order to know how the specific report was created. If I swipe up, I have the option at any time to start calling out some additional applications, like in this case Link, that will help me to share some information with the rest of my team. Going back to the home page, one thing that I like to call out as a result of this demonstration is that this application, the Business Analyzer, can help accelerate your organizations with a specific, actionable, and engaging business insights while they are in the office or on the go. Back to the presentation.
So we covered the 3 pillars of the messaging, how we would like to position a product in market. There's one thing that we would like to touch upon, which is value realization. So making sure that we actually realize the value that we just talked about in the previous 20 minutes. One of the key investments that we are doing for these releases is the investments in lifecycle services. And with lifecycle services, we are targeting at these roles that are involved in the implementation, maintenance, and upgrade and evolving of the business application at our customer sites. So to business analysts, this platform provides predictable implementations. For developers, the platform provides automation and application of best practices. And then for an IT admin, it provides a proactive monitoring of the system. I wanted to give a quick overview and demo of lifecycle services. Many of you might have seen it already. I still want to stress the fact that this will help you do more predictable implementations of R3, and we are continuously enhancing the services as part of the platform, but also the richness of each of these services. So let's take a look at the demo.
What you see here is the project workspace for one of the projects in Lifecycle Services. Lifecycle Services is a customer-managed workspace. Customers can invite internal employees to this workspace, as well as vendors that work on the implementation project. The advantage of having an Azure-based service is that it doesn't matter where these employees or vendors work, they can actually access this workspace directly from the internet browser. This project screen is divided in 2 parts. The left-hand side are the basic project management capabilities. What you can see up here is, for instance, a project plan. You can create a project plan. You can store documents or track issues in the implementation project. On the right-hand side, you see the services that we make available as part of Lifecycle Services. These services can be used in various phases in the application lifecycle, all the way from designing the system to maintaining or upgrading the system. What you see here is that the live tiles actually provide you some information from the services. So the Business Process Modeler is one of the services that you can use for doing a gap fit analysis. So it actually provides you information about the gaps identified. If I open this, you can see that we use the APQC cross-industry library as a description, as a reference to describe business processes. When I open this, you see that APQC uses various levels to describe business processes. So the highest level, for instance, is deliver products and services. And I can zoom down to the lowest level, being create, distribute, purchase orders. When I open this one, you will see a flowchart describing the standard process within AX. Each of the process steps provides metadata information from Dynamics AX here on the right-hand side of the screen. It also contains a video of the entire process. So if you double-click this, it will actually play the video of the purchase order process in Dynamics AX. It's very easy to document the business processes. If you have done this, what you can do then are a few actions. You can actually create a gap list for developers to start filling the gaps. You can do version control of the different business processes, or you can actually export this to a visual diagram. This is the standard process that's available in Dynamics AX, but as part of the offering, we provide a task recorder to record your processes in Dynamics AX, which creates a file containing a video, but also the metadata captured when doing the screen captures, which can be uploaded to Lifecycle Services to automatically create your customized business process flow like illustrated in this screen. So this is one of the services available. Let's take a look at one of the other services that Lifecycle Services provide, which is system diagnostic. So this will be a service that an IT admin would use to proactively monitor the service of Dynamics AX. So you see, it's a really easy, accessible cockpit that provides you proactively with warnings of the system. One example of the warnings could be, for instance, running out of number sequences. It's no problem to change or extend the range of number sequences, but if you're not prepared to the event of running out of number sequences, your operation could come to a complete standstill, and then it will be very hard to actually change that setting. If a cockpit would warn you upfront of such an event, you can actually proactively tackle that challenge and the operation just continues. So this is one of the advantages of the system diagnostic service. What you can see is there are multiple services here. I would like to invite you to go to the detailed 3-hour course that comprises a training of all these services. I really would like to invite you to take a closer look at Lifecycle Services because it helps you create more predictable implementations.
Thank you, Pepijn. Absolutely fantastic stuff. My name is Matthew Woodget. I'm here in the AX Product Marketing Group, and I'm our team's chief storyteller of sorts. I've taken it upon myself to make sure that the stories that we're telling in our marketing really make sense to human beings. Stories connect us all together, whether it's the story that you tell about what you had for breakfast in the morning or the story you tell about climbing Mount Everest. They connect us and we use them to communicate. Stories are absolutely critical for us when it comes to talking about our customers, how we work with our customers, and ultimately what our customers are able to achieve. What companies achieve impacts their customers, the end customer, and the experience that the end customer has. What we're doing within our team is we're working to capture and share stories about our customers told through the eyes of the people that actually make, ship, sell, build everything at our customers. Told through the eyes of the people who are actually doing it. This is a way to connect and share how companies are actually able to achieve the things they're able to achieve. And in doing so, we're able to then share those stories with other companies to inspire them or to align with and match with their dreams and aspirations for their business. And in doing so, work with them to show how those connections and those opportunities can also be applied to their business. So how are we doing this? Well, first of all, we need to capture the stories. We do that by looking at companies and looking in 5 key areas. Firstly, we look at the people. The relationships and teamwork are ultimately what make things happen in any business, whether it's 2 people or 200,000 people. They're the living, breathing heart, and they're the characters of the story on the stage being told. Then there is complexity. Complexity triggers conflict. It requires people adapt. It creates tension, and it fuels stories. Where you're coming from and where you're going to, the complexity is where the beauty in the story lies. And ultimately, stories also are about change. Where are you coming from and where are you going to applies not just to a business, but it also applies to individuals. The individuals of any business drive what happens in that business. And so when they tell their stories through their eyes, it helps communicate in a human way what that business is all about. They are the cast of characters and what happens to them. Then there's the process. Whether you're a company that is producing a repeatable service or part, a finite journey, if you will, or something that stretches off into the future, the process and the steps along the way ultimately provide the suspense and the journey and enable the transformation of the characters who are building, shipping, selling the products and services that that company provides. So how does technology play into all of this? Just like King Arthur, when he pulled Excalibur from the stone, technology represents something that helps people get things done. We want to make sure we're always mapping back to technology, because technology is obviously what we are selling and the services related to that technology. But those are really just one part of the story of any company. They're an important part for us, but we do need to respect and make sure that we're including those in context, which is why the other 4 areas are so important. What do we do when we've captured these stories? Well, we share them. We share them on blogs, at events, at Convergence, and in video. I'd like to share with you today 2 videos that we're creating, documentaries of both the Lotus F1 team and New Belgium Brewing. These 2 stories are stories that we will be telling in video and are, quite frankly, the ultimate realization of Company Achievement Showcase. But they're not the only way. These assets will be available for you to use to talk about the opportunity in the technology that we sell, but ultimately the opportunity for new customers to join us on the journey together. As I mentioned, we also tell stories through other mediums. There are a lot of ways that we can tell our stories, in the press, in blogs, in video, and so forth. So what do I need your help with? I need your stories. I need your customers' stories. Look at these 5 pillars as being ways that help you filter and pick stories. Share them with me. Please reach out to me and let me know when you have a good story. I can work with you to help you capture that. We've got great tools internally to make sure that the cool and interesting stories that you capture can be encoded, can be clarified, and can be shared. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share this with you today, and I'm going to go ahead and hand back to Pepijn to carry on with the rest of this fantastic training.
Thank you, Matthew. Putting our customer achievement central is critical to the success of this release. Let me transition to the end of this presentation. Before we go to the conclusion, I just wanted to give you R3 at a glance. The reason to do this is whenever you go to the technical conference or Convergence, this will help you select the sessions you want to go to. Most of these features be covered in the sessions. I just wanted to point out a few that we didn't touch upon. For instance, trade allowance management or e-procurement and budget planning. We have new apps coming out. You saw Business Analyzer, but there are more apps coming out for shop floor control or in the human resources domain. And then last but not least, lifecycle services. In both events, technical conference as well as Convergence, we will have a complete track on lifecycle services. So make sure you join the sessions in that track and you're up to speed on these new enhancements. At Convergence, we will ask our customers as a call to action to have a conversation with their partner around the opportunities for this new release R3. With that, let's see what actions you can take after this Blitz 1.
Basically, 3 next steps, Pepijn. The first one is we need to start sharing and promoting Dynamics AX 2012 R3. There are some resources available for everyone. The next one is get ready. We have technical conference around the corner. It's a must. Great content, R3, end-to-end sessions will be there. Finally, there are resources available for internal and partners. There are some links available on the screen, so partners could go to partner source for getting all the information that we will be releasing, and the Microsoft field can access to Infopedia through this link for more information.
Before we wrap up today, we have an announcement. This will significantly decrease your demo efforts. Let's go to Stephen Hoglum for the announcement.
Thanks, Pepijn. Hi, I'm Stephen Hoglum. I'm a Director of Product Marketing for Dynamics AX. And I'm here to announce today that we are providing the field, as well as our customers and partners, a new demo portal that will enable them to actually demonstrate Dynamics AX 2012 R3 in Azure. What you're looking at right now is that portal. And as you can see, I can sign on either with a corporate ID for the field or an actual live ID for partners and customers. I'm going to go ahead and log on with my corporate ID. And as you can see, that brings me to a catalog of demos that I can provision inside Azure. So I'm going to go ahead and provision the Dynamics AX 2012 R2 version at this point. And as you can see now, under my demos, I have that available to me to actually run. So I'm going to go ahead and click the play button here, which runs the demo. As you can see at the bottom, I have an RDP connection now that I can open. Once it's open, it prompts me for a password. And it's the traditional demos password of passatword1. And once I click enter, you can see that it's actually going right to Azure now to that running instance of the demo. Just to prove that point, if I were to go to the top of the screen here, you can see that the address is a .cloudapp.net, just to show customers or prove to yourself that it actually truly is running in Azure. So now I have a demo desktop from which I can actually launch AX and the demo enterprise portal or any of the various other types of things that are available that you wish to demo. So with that, we have made demos literally just clicks away, and we're going to be providing this as part of the R3 launch.
So Pepijn, we cover a lot during this session. I'd like to thank you everyone for attending to this training.
And we'd like to see you back for Blitz number 2, where we do deep dives in day-of-a-life scenarios for R3. Thank you very much.
So where does the rubber meet the road? Well, it's at our customers and the industries they operate in. One of the aspects we are most proud of in this release is its ability to respond rapidly to the changing customer needs and help customers capitalize on new opportunities before they have to pass them by. Nowhere is this more evident than in its extensive customization for industry verticals that we have in the product. We help customers see deep into their global supply chains with just a few clicks. Let's consider how we can be their business partners for customers in these industries, helping them realize their devices and services visions with some help from what's coming in R3. So today we're going to take a brief look at the three key industry segments: manufacturing, professional services, and the public sector. And in our February event that I talked about earlier, we'll dive deeper into all of these, and we'll also be adding our retail group to the walkthroughs. We'll walk through demos, we'll give you more technical detail, but first, let's whet your appetite with an overview of the R3 industry strengths. And once again, make sure you keep those questions coming to the audience that is following on the chat sessions. They'll answer you real time if they can, or if not, they'll come back to you after the sessions. Enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Bill Moffett, and I'm an industry product marketing manager focused on the manufacturing industry with Microsoft Dynamics. I'd like to review some of the key capabilities found in Microsoft Dynamics AX that I feel you need to be aware of when seeking to sell into the manufacturing industry. Today, I'm going to cover some key topics to help you understand more about the manufacturing industry and how Dynamics AX can effectively address the needs of manufacturers. We'll first review what it takes to be a dynamic manufacturer. We'll then review current functionality available in Dynamics AX, and then preview upcoming functionality that is due to be released in the Dynamics AX 2012 R3 release. Today, I'm going to cover some key topics to help you understand more about the manufacturing industry and how Dynamics AX can effectively address the needs of manufacturers. We'll first review what it takes to be a dynamic manufacturer. We'll then review current functionality available in Dynamics AX, and then preview upcoming functionality that is due to be released in the Dynamics AX 2012 R3 release. It's easy to jump straight into showing you the manufacturing capabilities found in Dynamics AX. But before we do this, let's talk about what it takes to be a dynamic manufacturer. A dynamic manufacturer is able to address key challenges in the marketplace and overcome them. Manufacturers need to innovate. Dynamic manufacturers drive innovation. They transform laboratory research into new products and production processes that generate profits. These innovations give manufacturers the performance or cost edge they need to compete in a crowded international marketplace. By staying closely connected to their customers, suppliers, and employees, they create amazing customer experiences. Manufacturers must also be agile and responsive in this global environment. Manufacturers are faced with constantly changing customer requirements and expectations. Combine this with increased governmental regulations, and you have quite a bit of uncertainty that manufacturers have to deal with. A dynamic manufacturer is able to be agile and responsive and is able to adapt very quickly to a changing business environment. Whether it's an economic downturn, a new market, a new regulation, or an unexpected new competitor, this manufacturer is able to respond quickly and efficiently with product or process changes. Finally, manufacturers need engaged people. Companies are fundamentally just groups of people, and dynamic manufacturers understand that their most important resource is their people, and employees want and need easy-to-use tools that are built with their needs in mind. Dynamic manufacturers understand that they need their employees to be engaged in the business, and they invest in tools and information that keep them inspired and motivated in their day-to-day work. So with all this said, let's take the next few minutes to see how Microsoft Dynamics AX can help manufacturers truly realize their potential and address these needs. Let's get going. The first area we'll look at is usability. The first thing you'll notice is the user-friendly dashboard-like interface that allows the viewer to see a great deal of information all in a single glance. Dynamics AX provides enhanced data visualizations as well as preview and navigation features to quickly allow access to this information. But it's not simply about putting a lot of information onto the screen. It's about optimizing the user experience for the viewer. This means that accessing information must be intuitive and the interface needs to be familiar and easy to use. You'll also notice that it's role-tailored user interface that shows the user just the information they need to do their job. No longer do you need to click through a system looking for lists and running reports that get the information as Microsoft Dynamics. You'll also notice that it's a role-tailored user interface that shows the user just the information that they need to do their job. No longer do you need to click through a system looking at lists and running reports to get the information, as Microsoft Dynamics includes out-of-the-box 44 role-specific home pages, with 10 of these focused specifically within the manufacturing industry. Let's take a look at our purchase orders. Look how familiar this is to someone that's used to the traditional Microsoft Office experience. The data is laid out very much like the Outlook or Excel type format which users embrace. We can easily sort and filter on the data in the columns as with other Microsoft products. On the top side, we have our action pane that allows us to quickly perform activities and processes, and even export information into Excel if needed. There's also key information on the right-hand side in what we call fact boxes that remove the need to click around the system to find the information. It's all right here, easy for us to view. The usability enhancements allow you to have quick access to information right at your fingertips, to allow you to get the information you need in the right format just when you need it. In an industry where efficiency is critical, this well-thought-out user interface is exactly what manufacturers are demanding. But having a great-looking UI is not just what manufacturers are looking for. They need more capabilities found in Dynamics AX. The world's economy has been global in nature, so it just makes sense that our manufacturing customers also have to be able to handle these diverse global issues. The concept of working in a global environment is something that has been built right into the core for Dynamics AX. It's a fundamental part of the solution and not something that is an afterthought and then patched into the system. For example, we offer localization requirements for 36 countries right out of the box. Those complex reports that you need for France and Germany are already built into the system. Just run the report and you are ready to go. You'd fully expect an enterprise solution to handle multi-language, multi-currency, and multi-site requirements. And yes, Microsoft Dynamics does this very well. Additionally, Dynamics AX allows you the ability to have all of these rich multi-capabilities in a single database instance or a complex multi-database environment that can scale as needed. No longer are you going to be forced into a single type of deployment. You have flexibility to set up your environment the way you want it based on your own IT or internal government's requirements. This approach by Microsoft Dynamics AX with a vision on global needs really gives manufacturers the flexibility they need. With this ability to address global requirements, manufacturers can easily realize new opportunities and enter into new markets quickly and effectively. Now, we've talked about fairly generic enterprise-level system requirements, but in a manufacturing setting, the creation, production, and management of inventory is king. This is the type of functionality that hardcore manufacturers look for when they seek solutions. Let's start at the entry level for manufacturing, the product. In a manufacturing environment, managing a portfolio of products is critical. With Dynamics AX, we have complete visibility into all the products from a single view. Whether it's items or services, having a centralized system to manage both will greatly improve an organization's ability to execute. And with Dynamics AX, you won't face the issue of having to manage duplicate data in multiple systems, as everything is located in one system. So we're going to look specifically here at this item, a 37-inch television. And when I can click on it, I can actually go into the item and see over here on the right-hand side all of the different companies that this item is specifically made available for. Now we have many more companies that are available, but this item is not allowed in all of them, only these select ones. With Dynamics AX, you have the ability to manage all product information from a centralized point, including hierarchical information, and the ability to manage variations of items such as colors and sizes. As we can see here, we have black, brown, and even silver versions of this item, all easily viewable directly from this one centralized point. And depending on your product environment requirements, Dynamics AX also allows users to manage batches, lots, serial numbers, catch weights, and other types of product-specific tracking requirements should the company ever face a recall issue or have specific compliance requirements. The next area of focus for a manufacturer is in its ability to control production. Whether you manufacture computers, heavy equipment with multi-level bombs, or even with processing livestock or chemicals, Dynamics AX has the ability to support both discrete, process, and even lean manufacturing techniques. Just pick the right method for each product that you have. In manufacturing, agility is key. Being able to move from one priority to another is critical. With Microsoft Dynamics AX, you have real flexibility on the production floor, as you can even pick multiple ways to manufacture items. Dynamics AX can accommodate item production from make to stock, make to order, assemble to order, and engineer to order production, all within the same environment. Now, we've shown a lot of functionality here around production capabilities, but wait, there's more. Microsoft's focus on building a system that works the way you want it to is not just limited to discrete or process manufacturing concepts. We've enabled the adoption of lean manufacturing process as well. Lean manufacturing is simply a production practice where users focus on a high level of production while using a minimum level of inventory. The goal is to eliminate waste from the production cycle and to be as efficient as possible. As a part of this approach, the concept of a Kanban board or visual cue offering visibility into the production floor is critical. With the Kanban board, production workers can see the status of the production run in a single, comprehensive view, while also being able to drill down into whatever level of detail they need to know with a click of a button. The worker uses his own dashboard. Microsoft Dynamics AX can accommodate a manufacturer's individual product control requirements. The special thing that Microsoft Dynamics can do is that we can do discrete, process, and even lean all within the same environment. This is what an agile system looks like. But when you think of production, you also need to consider the impact of resources needed to feed the production line, or simply the overall view of the supply chain. To further build on the concept of global connectivity built into the system, let's look at the supply chain functionality that is available with Microsoft Dynamics AX. Intercompany planning and scheduling capabilities combined with integrated forecasting empower your planners to guide your production. The ability to monitor resource availabilities along with their capabilities will help you effectively determine how to use them. If your own internal resources can't meet your production needs, you can even outsource. Sharing information with your own resources or external subcontractors is just one step in an innovative solution, but combining this with powerful planning functionality is how you build a connected supply chain. The next step is to empower your employees to take this information and then use it to make effective decisions. It's not a hard concept to grasp. It's simply the execution where sometimes things go wrong. It's one thing to tell someone they can make a decision, but if they aren't given the right tools, then decisions can be left to chance. Dynamics AX empowers workers. For example, if you are in a customer service position, then having the ability to communicate when something is available and actually knowing what your internal production capabilities are greatly impacts your effectiveness. Next, grant that same employee the ability to ensure the delivery of product to the customer, or even the decision of whether to buy, build, or transfer product in to meet the customer's orders, and imagine the positive impact that this kind of power can be in a highly competitive marketplace. Dynamics AX has a tremendous amount of functionality and capabilities available right out of the box with the current iteration of the solution. The ability to manage global manufacturing requirements out of a single instance or in a distributed environment is incredibly powerful. Incredible visibility and insight into day-to-day workings of the business through an intuitive, familiar, and role-tailored dashboard environment makes users productive right out of the gate. And you have real flexibility on the production floor with the options around building things using make to stock, make to order, assemble to order, and even engineering to order capabilities. Take all of this and combine it with the ability to manage both process, discrete, and lean manufacturing requirements natively within the same system. Well, I can assure you, this is a tremendous asset to any manufacturer. With the upcoming Dynamics AX 2012 R3 release, we are offering many key new bits of functionality for manufacturers. There are 3 areas that I'd like to highlight that I feel are really exciting for the manufacturing industry. The planned Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 enhancements coming in April 2014 include much more robust warehouse and transportation management features, and also improvements in the demand forecasting area. Let's take a quick look at what this functionality will offer. We'll start with the demand forecasting area. Delivering excellence is not just about providing best-of-breed functionality. It's also important to make sure that you meet the individual needs of users while doing so within a reasonable budget. When we release Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3, we are planning to include a lightweight yet powerful demand forecasting tool that leverages SQL analysis services to enable users to forecast demand based on historical data, adjusts that information for the forecasted demand using Excel, and then imports those values back into Microsoft Dynamics AX forecast models. By building a design that leverages existing Microsoft technology to create new functionality, Dynamics AX's demand forecasting functionality will be a familiar solution to use that offers the flexibility to make adjustments at any order point, and all at a cost-effective price point. Let's now take a look at the next new bit of functionality coming in R3, the new warehousing management functionality. This is a typical warehouse setup. Obviously, there's a lot of needs across the board here. People from throughout the company are engaged. Many different activities are occurring, and all of these are interacting with each other. As we can see, it's a very complex environment. As I personally have over 20 years of experience in the supply chain arena, I'm excited about the planned enhancements that will be released in Dynamics AX 2012 R3. This new warehousing functionality will provide significant improvements in our ability to manage inventory, as well as being able to reduce the complexity that is inherent in this environment. Some of the new capabilities we're offering include: we now have the ability to better define both inbound and outbound material workflow. With the enhanced visibility and segregation capabilities, we can now take on cross-docking needs. Now, we can more efficiently manage the flow of product for purchase orders, transfer orders, and production orders. We have a new reservation engine that will allow efficient and powerful reservation hierarchies for items. We have advanced picking capabilities such as wave pick support that will allow separate item picking to occur in a wave-type format. This means that items can be picked in the most efficient manner possible. And obviously, in a large-scale warehousing environment, mobile device support will be key, and we'll be able to offer full HTML-based RF support for remote warehouse workers. And with these RF devices, we'll be able to handle all receiving, put-away, and picking operations, including in the process manufacturing industry where picking by batch capabilities are critical. With this warehousing functionality, we'll have the ability to effectively handle inventory. Now comes the need to move that product. And this is where process efficiencies can be gained in the overall material movement process, and significant cost savings can be found. For manufacturers, transportation is very important, since it can impact so many parts of the business, including customer service, product cost, resource productivity, and ultimately, a company's profitability. With the new transportation management functionality coming in Dynamics AX, you have the ability to positively impact expectations of business partners by providing complete visibility into the transportation planning process. This can include inbound and outbound shipments, multi-shipment loads, shipment consolidation, and even load building calculations, just to name a few. You'll be able to schedule and manage appointments for the pickup and delivery of goods for the docks. You'll now have visibility into drive check-in and check-out history, visibility into driver logs, and be able to manage those exceptions that inherently occur out in the shipping area. You'll even have the ability to provide rating and routing information on the front end of the order management process, You'll be able to rate shop for the least expensive rate or choose the best rate for customers based on other key criteria they might have. You'll be able to take into consideration customer constraints that impact routing, fuel charges, toll charges, and even leverage multi-segment shipping or multi-mode types of shipments during this rate shopping process. And for every shipment, there's always the need to actually validate the subsequent billing documentation that follows it. We'll offer enhanced freight reconciliation capabilities to go along with these great new transportation features. So as you can see, we truly have a great deal to offer the manufacturing industry. We have the right approach to engaging effectively with people and processes. We have the right functionality to do the job. And we have the right technology approach that will allow us to address those challenges that manufacturers face on a daily basis. Well, we've covered a great deal of ground today, and I want to thank you so much for your time today. As you can see, Microsoft Dynamics AX includes a comprehensive set of capabilities right out of the box that will allow your manufacturing customers to innovate at a high level. With Dynamics AX, manufacturers will be able to respond with agility and to changing business environments, and they'll be able to adapt to whatever challenges are thrown their way. And those dynamic manufacturers will effectively engage people to create amazing customer experiences, all through a focus on a low total cost of ownership while embracing agile functionality and by using a familiar role-tailored user interface. We have many customer examples of this for you to leverage, so be sure to check out the manufacturing case studies on PartnerSource, Infopedia, and the Dynamics AX launch portal. I'd also encourage you to go out to a blog I wrote on demand forecasting and look for others that I'll be writing on new manufacturing functionality coming in R3. There's a lot of excitement with Dynamics AX these days, so I'd like to also invite you to join in on the conversation out in social media. Let's really get the word out. Thanks again for your time, and have a great day.
Hi, thank you for participating in our readiness event. I'm Elliott Ichimura, Global Director for Service Industries. Today we'll be talking about exciting, new, industry-specific capabilities in Dynamics AX 2012 R3 for project-based organizations. We're going to cover a lot of ground very quickly today, so fasten your seatbelts. For our agenda, we'll start with session objectives, and then I'll explain what service industries comprise and the types of solutions we are prioritizing in selected verticals. I'll briefly outline new capabilities in Dynamics AX 2012 R3 that are of high relevance for service industries firms, and then ask my colleague, Tom Patton, to discuss these capabilities in the context of a typical project lifecycle for a professional services firm. We'll then recap and wrap. As we familiarize you with the lifecycle of billable projects in a professional services firm, you will learn how Dynamics AX works natively with Microsoft Dynamics CRM, the project client, and SharePoint. You'll also learn how apps for mobile devices can simplify the lives of busy professionals, people like you who work with customers and prospects every day. Most importantly, you'll get a sense for the way that Dynamics AX can fit seamlessly into the day-to-day operations of project-based organizations. When you understand the core scenario that we enable, you'll be better equipped to assess customer needs and pursue the best sales opportunities. Service industries is an umbrella category that includes many industries and verticals where people are the primary assets for delivery of a result or an experience for a customer rather than a product. Within Microsoft Dynamics, we segment the market and selectively target three main areas shown here. Professional services firms typically offer services that involve people in many different locations, working virtually to execute complex projects, like an ERP implementation for a multinational corporation. An entire ecosystem of services firms focus on the life cycle of buildings and infrastructure like highways and hydroelectric dams, and we bundle these companies under the AEC and real estate category, where AEC stands for Architecture, Engineering, and Construction. Similarly, there is a complex ecosystem dedicated to the creation and delivery of content to commercial and consumer audiences in what we would call the media and entertainment sector. We focus on these businesses in part because they are already very strong adopters of Microsoft technologies for productivity, collaboration, communication, and business intelligence. They often own all of the platform products that underpin a Dynamics AX or CRM implementation. This reduces software costs and change management challenges, simplifying adoption of industry solutions from Dynamics. These are heavy information worker organizations that depend on their people to produce value and have either project-based or intellectual capital-intensive business models. There are 5 solutions that we go to market with for this industry, as outlined here. Knowledge management is the content management and collaboration platform story from Microsoft. It's what most of our prospects already own. Practice development aligns to the marketing and sales workload in Dynamics CRM and targets CMOs and sales leaders. Professional development, service delivery, and firm administration all align to Dynamics AX. Professional development focuses in particular on the recruit-to-retire lifecycle of people within the firm. The director of HR is the typical buyer there. Service delivery focuses on the project lifecycle and is our most industry-specific offering, and that's where a chief operating officer or a practice manager is the typical buyer. And finally, firm administration is about core financials and governance, and that's where the CFO is the typical number 1 buyer. This marketing slide outlines vertical-specific solution priorities for accounting, consulting, and IT services firms. Note that the first 5 colored boxes in the left-hand column tie back to the previous slide, with our Microsoft take on the top 4 customer needs by solution area laid out to the right. The Microsoft stack is in the dark blue below, and business intelligence-driven performance management cuts across solution areas on the right. Now, we won't drill into this slide today, but the important takeaway here is that Microsoft and Dynamics products offer high-value, out-of-the-box capabilities for customers in these verticals. Similarly, this slide outlines vertical-specific solution priorities for architecture, engineering, and construction firms. Note that we adjust titles for the solution areas to better align with the vertical customer lexicon here. AEC is a space where we are making great inroads in the market with Dynamics AX. However, it's important to note that we typically need to collaborate with ISV partners to deliver last-mile functionality and reporting, especially in the construction vertical. So, what's new in Dynamics AX 2012 R3 that will help you sell to these customers? First, we have mobile apps that work on Windows Phone, iPhone, and Android for time and expense reporting and approvals of all sorts. We also have companion apps that add additional functional capabilities, including an addition of Business Analyzer that puts essential BI at practice manager fingertips. And then we have a set of exciting native integrations between Dynamics AX and Microsoft Project for work breakdown structures, with Dynamics CRM for opportunity to cache integration, and Office 365 SharePoint for collaboration. Now, at a big picture level, we've done a lot as well to make Dynamics AX better address the needs of multinational firms with virtual project teams that cut across organizational and legal boundaries. To tell you more about these capabilities and improvements in an industry context, let me hand off to Tom.
Hi, my name's Tom Patton. I'm a senior program manager on the Dynamics AX team working on service industry functionality. Today I'm going to walk you through the new features that we've got for service industries in Dynamics AX 2012 R3. Let's get started. In today's session, we have a couple of learning objectives. We're going to show you how to use Dynamics AX and Dynamics CRM together as a cohesive product. We'll walk through the new features we have for planning and estimating projects. We'll show you how to find resources to staff your project successfully, and we'll also go through how your team members can use mobile devices to collect their project actuals during the course of the project. At the end, we'll have some time to reflect on what we've learned today. Specifically, we'll be seeing how Dynamics works with SharePoint, with Microsoft Project, with Dynamics CRM and other products. We'll be able to describe the life cycle that a project goes through from quotation all the way through invoicing, and we'll be able to describe the value that mobile devices provide to project teams. Before we jump in, let's get introduced to a few of the key personas that we have in service industries. We have account managers who are all about engaging with customers and understanding how they can quote new work, estimate new work, and maintain the relationships with those customers on a continuous basis. We have project managers. Project managers are all about project execution. They need to be able to estimate costs, estimate schedules, they need to be able to track progress, and they need to be able to maintain their finger on the pulse of the performance of their projects. And finally, we have the people who are doing the work, the team members out there, who need to understand the project structure. What are they supposed to do? When are the deadlines? And easily enter time and expenses for their projects, wherever they may be. These personas participate in a standard sort of process flow that we can see diagrammed here. From the sales and marketing phase, through project initiation, through project execution, and finally invoicing and billing when we actually receive the revenues. Let's start with sales and marketing. Sales and marketing is all about our account manager and how they're managing the relationship with the client. And as we know, one of the best ways to do this is to use Microsoft Dynamics CRM. In Dynamics CRM, this is where we can track all of our activities and keep a close eye on all the projects that we're engaged in and the new work we're trying to acquire. In addition to tracking those activities, we also want to provide an ability to quote the new work that we're working on to our prospective customers. In this case, I'm quoting out a new opportunity to deliver a BI report migration to the city manufacturing. I've done some estimation on how much I think this is going to bring me in terms of revenue, and eventually I need to start working with my delivery team to make sure that they can deliver it within that budget and on the timeline that we're discussing. In Dynamics AX 2012 R3, we provided the ability to take this information and seamlessly move it into Dynamics AX, where the delivery team can use all of the estimation and resourcing capabilities of Dynamics AX 2012 to fulfill and plan that project. So that's really showing some of these key activities that are happening in the sales and marketing phase. Using Microsoft Dynamics CRM to establish our relationships, maintain our contacts, and track the work that we're doing from a sales engagement perspective, and enabling us to estimate the opportunity effectively. Let's move on to the next piece in our process flow. This is really the project initiation phase, where the project manager, the account manager, and in some cases our executive, the practice manager, are working together to solidify the project plan and confirm the quotation back to the customer. The first thing you'll see here is that the project manager is easily going to pick up with our city manufacturing quotation that was built by our account manager in Dynamics CRM. This is seamlessly synchronized over to Dynamics AX, where the delivery team will be doing the bulk of their work. Here you can see the project manager leveraging a standardized template that has captured all of the labor and time materials in our new work breakdown structure that lets them easily analyze how much effort and how much material costs will be generated into this project. For example, you can see both the program management work capabilities that are required here for our training step in this project, as well as the expenses for travel. So this one template is going to contain all the cost components that we're going to contribute to this project. When the project manager gets down to the business of tailoring this project to the specifics of the customer requirements, they want to use a powerful tool that will help them schedule the tasks involved. So taking that standard template that we had in Microsoft Dynamics AX and opening it up in Microsoft Project enables him to use all of the power and flexibility of this tool to re-estimate and fine-tune the project. All of this information is automatically sent back and synchronized with AX, where all of the financial aspects such as the budget, the forecast, and the invoicing will take place. So what we're aiming to do here is really to enable the project manager to use the tool of their choice while still keeping constant synchronization with all of the capabilities we have in Dynamics AX. The next thing that the project manager is going to want to do is actually staff his project. Here we see some of the new staffing capabilities that we have in Dynamics AX 2012 R3. We've introduced the concept of roles and teams and allowed you to apply those to individual projects. And then we've provided a graphical view of availability and skill set matching that lets you go out and pick out your resources. These resources could be from your own legal entity or from subsidiaries, and we've provided a lot of new capabilities in R3 that enable you to leverage global resources and account for them properly. Finally, once we've established our work requirements and our material requirements and we've staffed our project, we need to baseline our budget. And we've done a lot of improvements in R3 to help you easily import this budget and baseline it and then track it throughout the life cycle of the project. Here you can see the costs for hours and expenses all rolled up both on the cost and revenue side. We've gone through the approval process to get this approved by our management, and we're actually ready to start executing the project now. So to recap, our project initiation activities are staffing the project, making sure we've got the right skills allocated to this project, making sure that our people are available and ready to work on this project. And we've done a lot of estimation using Microsoft Project to estimate our timeline and make sure all of our costs and prices are in line with the budget that has been quoted in the initial phase of the project. So now let's move on to where the work really gets done, project execution. In project execution, we're really focused on the project manager and the team member getting this project delivered. One of the key pieces of feedback we've heard about team members is making it easier for them to enter their time, record their time properly and in accordance with the policies of the organization, and enter their expenses in a way that is easy for them to use and enables them to do these tasks while they're traveling and on the go. Here you can see our new Windows 8 tablet experience where we're entering time against the projects that have been defined by the project manager. Here's a similar experience using Windows 8 tablets for expense entry. Same thing. When the team members are on the road out there engaging with customers and they're incurring expenses, they're able to record these on their mobile devices and easily submit these for approval by the project team. Once the time has been submitted and the expenses have been submitted by the team members, the project manager can then use this new approvals app that's delivered on Windows 8 tablets to verify that all of the time and expenses have been incurred and properly recorded. Once he sees the overview of all the approvals that are on his plate, he can drill into individual approvals like this timesheet. In this timesheet, we can see all the projects that were worked on by Zach and make sure that they're properly coded and the comments are correct and that they're ready to be invoiced to the customer. All of these experiences are available not only on Windows 8 tablets, but they're available on mobile form factors that you're carrying in your pocket, like your Windows Phone, your iOS device, or an Android phone. Finally, during our project execution stage, the project manager needs to make sure that he's monitoring the budget and progress appropriately. We've done a lot of changes here in the project budget balances form to make that a lot easier for you to see the difference between your original budget, any approved revisions that have been made against that budget, and the cost commitments and incurred costs against the various categories of costs and revenues that we have that were originally approved back in our initiation phase. In addition to monitoring the budget, we can also monitor the progress. On each task level here, we're providing an ability for the project manager to come in and mark the percentage complete, indicate the cost to complete, and keep a good view on whether we're ahead or behind schedule as we had originally mapped out this project. Another tool that we have for monitoring progress is the earned value chart that we have right here in the Role Center. Here you can see this same project, our BI report migration, and as it progresses through time, the delta between the actual costs incurred in blue and the projected costs incurred in green, along with the earned value that we have today. So let's recap on our key activities in project execution. This is all about the project manager managing the budget and monitoring the progress, and the team members doing the work and reporting that with the new mobile apps that we have provided in Dynamics AX 2012 R3. Now let's move to the final phase of the project, our project billing phase, where the project manager will prepare and ensure that the invoice is correct and ready to be sent out to the customer. We've made some improvements here that you can see in the project invoice proposal, making it easier to select just the transactions that are supposed to be billed for this project in this timeline, and then produce an invoice that's ready to be sent to the customer. At the end of this entire process, we can step back and have a look at how our performance is across the portfolio of projects. This is really something more for the leadership team of the organization to be able to step back and look at the individual projects, how they're progressing, what their original forecasted costs and revenues were, and what their actuals were, and be able to do those comparisons and make sure that we're on track for successful delivery. So, again, to recap these priorities from the project billing and performance review, we're making sure that our invoices are accurate and preparing those with the new capabilities that we have in the invoice proposal form, and working with our accounts receivables staff to make sure that those invoices are prepared and sent appropriately to the customer. So let's step back and take some key takeaways from this overview. The first thing I hope you could see from this demonstration is that Dynamics AX provides an end-to-end set of capabilities aimed at service industry organizations. This is everything from quotations in Dynamics CRM to estimation in Dynamics AX with Microsoft Project to project billing and invoicing. Next, we've seen how Dynamics AX works with lots of other Microsoft products to make the whole experience better. Things like Microsoft Project, things like Microsoft Office, where we saw the invoice prepared, and Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And finally, we've seen how Dynamics AX comes with a slew of mobile applications that help project team members easily submit their time and expenses while they're on the road. I hope this walkthrough helped you understand the new capabilities that we have for service industries in Dynamics AX 2012 R3. Thanks for your time.
With thanks to Tom, here are our key takeaways for this session. 1. Dynamics AX provides end-to-end capabilities for services organizations. 2. Dynamics AX works with other Microsoft products like Microsoft Project, Office, and CRM. 3. Dynamics AX comes with mobile applications that support teams on phones and tablets. And 4. Consulting and IT services, as well as architecture, engineering, and construction verticals, are priority opportunity areas for us. With that, let me ask you to take some next steps. If you're among our Microsoft field, please go to the Dynamics page on Infopedia and drill into the Services Firms section to find white papers, BDM decks, and other essential sales materials. If you're among our partner community, please do the same via the newly updated partner source. Last but not least, please be sure to sign up for Part 2 of this Readiness Blitz for live demos of the many capability areas that Tom discussed today. And thanks for joining us.
Hi, my name is Todd Bergeson, Senior Product Marketing Manager, Public Sector, Dynamics Industry Product Marketing. In this session, I'm going to talk to you about how Microsoft Dynamics AX helps governments of all types improve worker productivity and create citizen value while managing costs. I will also show you a new area of functionality in Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 that will help all organizations manage the RFX process. So let's get started. Here's the outline for the agenda. We're going to cover making the case for finance and administration for public sector and government organizations. We're going to show a little bit of what's new, e-procurement in Microsoft Dynamics AX. Then we'll recap and cover call to action. So let's get started. At the end of this session, you should be able to make the case for finance and administration within public sector organizations, more specifically governments. And you should be able to discuss the key features and functionality within e-procurement, which is new within Dynamics AX 2012 R3. Unfortunately, administrative and financial systems are not keeping up with the changing pace and nature of government. As technology and connectivity break down barriers and enable constant contact with the rest of the world, it's no longer enough to have government finance and administrative systems that create records of what was already happened. What's needed is government that is proactive and forward-looking, with empowered workers and the capacity to adapt to changing economic and political conditions. To address this ever-changing environment, governments need to have quick access to information to remain fluid and proactive with the decision-making process. Government employees need flexible tools that help them stay productive wherever they are and however they communicate. Critical objectives include quick access to information, ability to make proactive decisions, flexible tools to increase employee productivity, and provide transparency and accountability. Microsoft Enterprise Resource Planning can help governments succeed in the midst of change. Its flexible and easy-to-learn software enables organizations to adapt quickly to new and changing conditions. Instant analysis and up-to-the-minute financial tracking provide workers with insight to make timely, fiscally responsible decisions. Workers can collaborate among departments, share information, and deliver constituent-centric services more quickly. Our vision is to create opportunities to provide forward-looking tools that offer anytime, anywhere access to workers and leaders, change the way government runs from within, and change the way government interacts with the outside world. That doesn't come in by accident. It requires a strategic approach to make that a reality today and sustainable to the future. It needs to be people-centric, it needs to provide citizen value, and most importantly, it must cover cost management. A recent Microsoft and GFOA consulting survey report focused on public sector best practices around enterprise resource planning and found that 63% of the time, ERP adoption and the ease of use fell short of expectations. What I see are some key takeaways. You need to focus on getting built for government. Some organizations told us that they plan to re-engineer their operations to match the systems they had implemented in the belief that doing so would improve efficiency. Yet government operations are unique. Systems that are flexible and able to make public sector requirements out of the box must ease implementation and offer greater business value. Focus on your core needs. The just right system must fit the sophisticated needs of public sector. Look for ease of use. Adopt technologies that you commonly use. Organizations should expect their systems to work in a familiar manner, like other desktop tools that employees know and use. Amid the ongoing challenges of implementing new and complex systems, several of the organizations that GFOA talked to saw that Microsoft Dynamics AX helps reduce the complexity and cost to ensure faster ROI. For example, the City of Redmond is able to achieve greater strategic value from financial management while enabling elected officials to be more responsive to citizens. Also, the Oregon State Lottery is now experiencing the benefits of an ERP platform that combines finance, human resources, supply chain management, and other similar systems for a more unified approach. And finally, the Port of Long Beach has a faster access to revenue information, increased process efficiencies, and improved reporting of information. So let's take a look at the new functionality that is included with Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. Within R3, specifically for public sector organizations, we are introducing e-procurement. Traditionally, organizations often use different solicitation vehicles for different procurements, such as commonly purchases, professional services, construction, etc. Purchasing agents need more flexibility to configure corresponding rules and details to support these solutions. Purchasing agents now can specifically individual solution types, drive solicitation methods, track and communicate changes to RFQs, utilize sealed bids, and provide questionnaires to vendors. The vendor portal experience really needs to provide registering, soliciting, and bidding proposing via the web is increasing and common for organizations and vendors. A complete vendor portal experience from guest-based viewing to registered vendor proposal submission needs to be supported. Within Dynamics AX R3, the vendor can enjoy a more polished and intuitive vendor portal experience, view all published open and closed solicitations, propose substitute items, view any changes, answer any questionnaires, and bid on RFQs that have not been specifically invited to. Vendor bids to a solicitation may be governed by different tabulation methods, such as lowest price, best fit, etc. Organizations may have contracting goals that give preference to certain vendor groups, such as local vendors, disadvantaged vendors, etc. Purchasing agents need the ability to establish tabulation criteria and different award methodologies. So with e-procurement, we're able to score, evaluate, and rank all bids based on user-defined evaluation, award RFQs at the header and the line level, and send notification to vendors to communicate any specific points on an RFQ. Typically, as a government for transparency, I need to publish all of my open requests. Now on the vendor portal, all contractors can see open RFQs and submit a bid even if they have not been officially notified. Also, note that the bids can either be open or sealed. Here I can see all of the requests that have been sent to me and bid on those RFQs. As a contractor, I can fill in the line details for my bid, complete any required questionnaires, and submit my bid. In addition, I can add attachments or alternate lines to a bid. As a contractor, I can also see closed requests and the results of those RFQs. I can score bids based on set criteria within Microsoft Dynamics AX, and I can compare all requests, filtering by lowest net amount by line, lowest total price, or export to Excel for further detailed analysis. I can also rank the bids by entering a rank on this particular form. So as you can see, purchasing agents now have greater flexibility to configure corresponding rules and details to support solicitation management. Vendors now can do guest-based viewing or registered vendor proposal submissions. Purchasing agents can now establish tabulation criteria and different award methodologies. I wanted to provide you a couple of links to make sure you could go for further information. The first link is an internal link for the Microsoft field. This is on Infopedia. The second link is for partners, and it is on PartnerSource and contains all of the campaign and go-to-market material, battle cards, etc. So please refer to those links for further information. So let's take a look at dynamic government. We will also spend a little bit of time going through a scenario from citizen request through capital improvement and the completion of a project, showing how Dynamics helps governments. Then we'll do a recap and call to actions. During this session, you should be able to discuss dynamic government and be able to use the dynamic government scenario in your presentations and be able to discuss that. These are dynamic and challenging times for governments and the people they serve. Citizens are expecting much more from their governments today than ever before, and governments are working to provide unprecedented value and customer service to their citizens. Taking the view of a business owner, government leaders are thinking of new ways of leveraging remarkable developments in technology to increase citizen satisfaction while effectively managing the cost of governing. These leaders are looking for breakthrough ways of fueling local economic growth, expanding access to education, improving health care, and keeping their people safe and secure. There are huge hurdles to overcome while meeting the demands of increased expectations and fewer resources to dedicate to these essential challenges. Government and industry leaders need to work together and more than ever towards a shared set of priorities to create a new catalyst of growth and competitiveness. There is good reason, though, to be optimistic. It seems like every day there is something new that holds some kind of promise for government, new insights, new approaches, new technologies. The similarity of need across different areas of governance makes sense. These areas are interrelated, with education and health, for example, supporting economic development, and at the end of the day, the goal is the same: a better life and a better world. Key factors that are impacting government progress are things like the rise of expectations of citizens. There's continued pressure to improve service levels. You have all sorts of bad publicity. I'm sure you've read a lot of things in the news, lawsuits, etc. For local government organizations, many federal grants and funding are tied to customer service metrics and citizen satisfaction. Today, we live in a competitive world. If one city doesn't offer strong services, citizens may move to other cities, which overall hurts the tax base of that current city. And the same is true for businesses. They will move to where the opportunity exists. CRM and ERP solutions ultimately help to make government organizations more efficient, which translate into significant cost savings. To realize its promise for government and citizens, innovation has to be effective. It needs to be practiced and powerful. ultimately helping people overcome critical challenges and shape a bright future. Technology evolves every second, and with this growth comes opportunities to enhance constituent service. Mobile devices, computers, interactive websites, and collaborative tool innovation provides occasions for citizens to interact with our government in new, exciting, and productive ways. To address this ever-changing environment, government needs to have quick access to information to remain fluid and proactive with the decision-making process. Government employees need flexible tools that help them stay productive wherever they are and however they communicate. Smart government is no longer simply a vision for the future. It is available now. At Microsoft, we call it dynamic government. To succeed in today's diverse environments, governments must address these new realities, which are also the design principles fueling the Microsoft approach to modern business solutions. Critical objectives include quick access to information, ability to make proactive decisions, flexible tools to increase employee productivity, and they must provide transparency with accountability. When governments can realize the full potential of their people, they better fulfill their mission and realize the substantive benefits for the constituents they serve. People are at the core of every interaction. It's the people that make decisions, manage relationships, and serve as the touch point between government and its citizens. They are truly the most valuable asset. By investing in them, providing them with the right tools for being more productive, more informed, and more connected to each other and the citizens they serve, governments are able to deliver more efficient, streamlined services that enable a truly dynamic government. Technology has long been a catalyst for progress in key societal changes around the world. As one example, the growth of the cloud computing over the last 15 years has created rich components and rich opportunities for countries to transform their economies by removing barriers of business development, enabling faster information exchange, spurring technology innovation, reducing cost, and supporting more energy-efficient business practices. In addition to these benefits, the cloud allows governments to deliver information and services more efficiently and effectively. To take full advantage of cloud computing, businesses and governments must be able to ensure strong privacy and security protections in the cloud and consider issues of data sovereignty. Huge growth in the range of mobile devices is enabling people more than ever to change the way they work and play. With Microsoft Dynamics mobile apps, you can now have secure access to data anytime, anywhere. From the Parks Department worker responding to a downed tree to the city manager reviewing and approving purchases. Social apps have surged in popularity and provide compelling new ways to connect and share with customers and colleagues. With Microsoft Dynamics integration of Yammer and NetBreeze, governments can now monitor citizen reactions in real time and track promoters. The explosive growth in devices and apps means lots of data trails. The exponential growth in data is leading businesses to explore the need to get better insights from that data. With Microsoft Dynamics built-in user role centers, you have access to the information that helps drive decisions for your organizations. The cloud is really an enabling force for these other trends, providing the ubiquitous connectivity and computing power that make them possible. It has already revolutionized how people use technology in their personal lives, and it will have the same influence on how people use technology in their professional lives. With Microsoft Dynamics, you can have the solution delivered on your terms, on-premise, or in the cloud. These Microsoft Dynamics investments translate into a set of strong, comprehensive enterprise capabilities. However, to meet today's budgetary and service challenges, governments may be looking to evolve their applications into smaller chunks, addressing one operational workload at a time. Smaller chunks mean more rapid return on investment and precise targeting of IT spend to areas that contain the most important opportunities or challenges for government. Traditionally, organizations have had to choose either best-of-breed solutions that could target a single workload or entire suites. The best-of-breed approach presented enormous integration challenges because the separate workload solution rarely came from the same application vendor. The suites naturally delivered integration, but didn't support workload-at-a-time implementation. To solve this problem, Microsoft Dynamics is evolving into a suite solution composed of workload services that are designed to work together, but at the same time can be deployed independently. A workload can be an individual business process, such as grant management, addressing the operational requirements of logistics support. Systems with modules that can be turned on and off depending on what people need for their jobs enable shorter implementation cycles and smaller investments that are targeted to the most critical need. Formed in 1990 through an Act of Parliament of South Africa, the ARC has become the leading agricultural research and development center for the country. To support its growing organization, the ARC initially deployed its own financial system. Over time, the system evolved in a manner that had really become unmanageable. They needed to integrate other business areas. The ARC then chose to deploy Microsoft Dynamics AX based on one key factor, ease of use. In addition, the ability of Microsoft Dynamics AX to work with Microsoft SharePoint aided in the decision, enabling the company to take advantage of powerful collaborative capabilities on top of the core ERP system. The Biscay County Authority wanted to improve the quality of services provided by the government to its citizens. The organization decided to use technologies of information and knowledge to help the 1.2 million citizens of the historical territory to communicate more easily with municipality agencies. With the new solution that includes Microsoft SharePoint Server, Windows Server, Exchange Server, SQL Server, BizTalk Server, Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and Microsoft Dynamics AX, Biscay has brought local government and citizens closer together, improved the quality of services, and enhanced operational efficiencies across municipalities. 2 district councils in the United Kingdom formed Compass Point Business Services to provide shared, back office, and frontline service delivery, and enable the savings and efficiencies that public sector entities must achieve. Providing financial, human resources, and benefits management together with the constituent services, Compass used technology to fulfill the promise of the new business model. The Compass is on track to deliver savings of an average of £3 million, approximately $4.9 million US per year with the new efficiencies. So recapping what we've talked about, we discussed dynamic government, and we showed the dynamic government scenario. For some additional information, I have a couple of links that I'd like to share with you. First of all, an internal link for the Microsoft field on Infopedia. The second link is for our Microsoft partners on PartnerSource. These links contain all of the campaign, go-to-market, and sales content as it relates for public sector and Microsoft Dynamics. Thank you for your time today. As you can see, Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 provides some great improvements for organizations to manage their procurement process with out-of-the-box e-procurement functionality that will help your customers save time, money, and improve their interactions with constituents.
Understanding how our licensing and pricing works for this product is crucial to putting together a deal that works for your customers. I've asked our pricing and licensing team to come up with an overview today that would highlight what's new for R3 licensing. We'll be revisiting this again in our update in February, including answers to the most commonly asked questions that you come up with as a result of this session. So don't be shy. Let's roll part 1 of our pricing and licensing update with Michelle Mathis.
Hi, my name is Michelle Mathis, and I'm a Senior Business Planner for Microsoft Dynamics AX. In this session, I will be sharing with you the pricing and licensing updates for Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. Let's get started. Here's a quick view of our agenda for this session. We will be doing a quick recap on the existing licensing model and then jump into understanding what is new from a licensing and pricing perspective for Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. Then we will briefly touch on existing customer guidelines. By the end of this session, you should be able to understand Microsoft Dynamics AX licensing model and its key benefits. Be able to explain the new pricing and licensing for Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 and describe existing customer guidelines. This slide summarizes our key objectives for Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 pricing and licensing. First, our model is designed to be powerful. We have included all Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 functionality, both current and new, in the server. There are no additional SKUs required to obtain advanced functionality. To attain access to these powerful features, users and devices are licensed based on functionality that they require. Secondly, we have built a flexible multi-tiered CAL model so you can choose the functionality for your specific business needs. You can also mix and match various types of users and devices within a single deployment. Third, our solution continues to offer a highly competitive total cost of ownership. We have added more functionality and more value with Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. So be confident that Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 offers high customer value. Finally, Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 is available through an enterprise agreement, which is the optimal Microsoft volume licensing program for saving organizations money. The EA offers large organizations the ability to license certain Microsoft software over a 3-year period at the best available price. This licensing solution increases operating efficiencies with rights to the latest versions of Microsoft licensed products and also provides access to all the great benefits of software assurance. Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 utilizes a licensing model that is powerful, flexible, competitive, and is optimized for Microsoft's enterprise agreement. Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 is designed to be powerful, agile, and simple. Consistent with that theme, it will be available through the familiar Microsoft Server CAL licensing model. This licensing model, launched with Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012, provides an innovative yet simplified way for customers to purchase an ERP solution. You need to license a Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 server for each running instance of the software. Remember that entire solution functionality is licensed through the server. Access to this functionality is licensed through Client Access Licenses, also known as CALs. You need a CAL for every endpoint accessing Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. As you may recall, as part of Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R2, we announced the availability of the 4 device CALs matching the use rights of the existing 4 user CALs. You can have a mix of user CALs and device CALs within the same deployment. If an individual accesses the server using more than one device, license the individual with a named user CAL. With a user CAL, that user can use any device without the need for device CALs. If multiple individuals access the server using the same device, license the device with a device CAL. With a device CAL, any number of users can use the device without the need for user CALs. Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 brings enhanced value to the server license. Some of the valuable features being added are warehouse and transportation management. Warehouse management drives optimization of your supply chain execution by improved fulfillment and insight into your inventory. Transportation management ensures accurate delivery and could help reduce transportation costs. Another feature is demand forecasting. Demand forecasting helps you ensure that product is available by improving your forecast demand and accuracy. Microsoft Dynamics Lifecycle Services provides a cloud-based collaborative workspace that customers and their partners can use to manage Microsoft Dynamics AX projects from pre-sales to implementation and operations. Lifecycle services are available to customers that are active on a maintenance plan. Companion apps enable new native device experiences, helping employees improve their efficiency. Some examples of these apps being made available via smartphone and Windows 8 tablet are Time, Expense, Approvals, and Business Analyzer. Access via mobile and desktop apps are included with all named user CALs. Azure services are required and must be acquired separately. Based on a lot of partner and customer feedback, we are making several licensing improvements with Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. We will be adding additional value to the functional CAL by moving 6 roles down that were previously classified as enterprise CALs. These roles are Manager, Marketing Manager, Environmental Manager, Quality Control Manager, Service Delivery Manager, and Vendor Account Manager. In addition, we are moving 5 roles from Functional CAL to the Task CAL. The Task CAL is being improved by now including the following roles: Shipping Clerk, Receiving Clerk, Warehouse Clerk, Dispatcher, and Machine Operator. To further enhance the value of the Task CAL, we are adding the following use rights: approval of invoices and approval of time and expense, including billable. In addition, the Task CAL will now include use rights to operate a warehouse device. We appreciate your feedback on current licensing model. We feel that these Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 licensing improvements will help add even more value to an already outstanding product launch. With the Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 launch, we will be making some updates to the pricing. As discussed on the previous slide, Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 is providing several new product enhancements, which will all be included in the server license. With this improved value, we will be increasing the price of the server from $6,000 to $7,500. We will also be making some updates to the CAL pricing. As a result of feedback we have received, we will be reducing the price of the Enterprise CAL from $4,200 to $4,000. The Enterprise CAL at this reduced price point will still provide full access to all Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 functionality. Our licensing enhancements with Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 provide improved use rights for the functional CAL. We will be making a slight adjustment to the price of the functional CAL from $1,400 to $1,600. Please note that the price of the task and self-serve CALs will remain unchanged. This slide shows a summary of the updated pricing for Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 by licensing program. Please note that these estimated retail prices are shown in USD for an example. Please refer to your local price list for final pricing. Existing Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 customers on an enterprise agreement will continue to pay prices applicable to their licensing agreement until its expiration date. Price changes will apply immediately upon agreement renewal. Existing Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 customers that purchase from the Dynamics price list will not have an impact to their existing licenses or their associated protected list price. Therefore, as long as customers remain on plan, the BREP associated with their existing licenses will not be impacted. If an existing customer wishes to purchase additional Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 licenses after the launch of Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3, they will need to utilize the updated pricing. Recapping what we've talked about today, we are utilizing the same powerful, flexible, and high-value server CAL model that is used today. We are adding more value and improved use rights to the licensing model. In addition, pricing will be modified to better align with R3. Please make sure to attend the Blitz 2 in February to obtain additional pricing and licensing information. Soon, additional details will be made available on PartnerSource for your viewing. Thank you for your time today. As you can see, Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 is utilizing the existing server CAL model. However, we will be improving use rights and modifying the pricing to make this release even more powerful, flexible, and competitive. Please make sure to check Partner Source for additional information. Thank you.
Our next segment is all about the competitive landscape in which AXR3 operates. We know the threat that SAP offers to our market, and it's critical that you are able to correctly position R3 against SAP in general and against HANA in particular. We are confident that we have the best, the most future-proof, and even the most future-ready platform than anybody out there. So to help you with that, I've asked Ricky Gangstedt Rasmussen to shed some light on where we stand, where they stand, and how we claim the land that sits right in between. Take it away, Ricky.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this SAP Compete Overview session. My name is Ricky Gangstedt Rasmussen, and I'm a director on the AX product marketing team. In this session, we'll help you understand where SAP is coming from and what their strategy is moving forward. We'll provide you with insight into one of their key focus areas called SAP HANA. We'll also talk to you about how we compete actively with SAP, and we'll talk specifically around why customers should be selecting Microsoft Dynamics AX instead of SAP. Please make sure to ask any questions in the chat window, and we'll do our very best to answer as many questions as we can. If we don't get to your question, we'll make sure to reach out to you after this event.
I want to thank all of you for taking time to go through this very important topic, and I want to direct all questions, comments, and insights that you may have to dynsapcompete@microsoft.com. Before we dive into SAP's strategy, I wanted to provide you with a high-level overview of some of the main offerings that SAP has been focused on. This will help you clear out a couple of misconceptions that we get frequently, and it will allow us to share some good news with you. Starting from the top, SAP has had tremendous success serving the enterprise space with their SAP R3 product, which over time has had a lot of different brands, including MySAP.com, SAP ECC, and the SAP Business Suite, which is its current name. Underneath this, in the mid and the upper mid-market, SAP has been offering their SAP Business All-in-One solution, which again is exactly the same technology as the SAP Business Suite. The only real difference here is SAP has wrapped the technology very tightly in what they call industry best practices. Now, it's important to note here that what SAP calls industry best practices are not necessarily best practices for your customer. In reality, they're merely a reflection of how SAP customers have been doing business in a related industry or vertical. Now, this is problematic for two reasons. First and foremost, it's almost never a perfect fit for how customers do business today. This means that customers will be forced to change how they work in order to fit the software. Customers who choose this approach may experience a faster and lower cost implementation, but they may also end up paying more in change management and lost productivity on the business side, simply due to incompatible or unnatural new business processes. Secondly, adopting such practices will not help your customer differentiate themselves against other competitors in the market. Everyone may be running the exact same undifferentiated business processes. Now, SAP will claim that you can use these templates as a starting point. While it's true that you can customize the solution after installing a template, it's also important that the customer understands that they're dealing with an enterprise-level product, and therefore they better have an enterprise-level budget, enterprise-level partner and in-house skills, and finally, they better have a lot of patience, as these projects are notoriously big and expensive, and we'll go into more details about this later in the session. Going further down in the market, we find the born-in-the-cloud business suite from SAP called SAP Business by Design. Now, Business by Design was positioned as the hottest technology, and you will likely have heard SAP executives talk about how Business by Design had the potential to become the cloud platform that would end up replacing the SAP Business Suite. However, 7 years and hundreds of millions of euros later, SAP have now announced that they will stop adding new features to Business by Design, effectively putting the solution into the equivalent of maintenance mode. Finally, we have SAP Business One, an acquisition that SAP did more than 10 years ago to penetrate the small business market. SAP is still selling this solution through partners and have recently announced 2 new offers with Business One. First, you can expect to see bundles of Business One with business objects to help strengthen the BI story. Secondly, SAP will be offering Business One hosted by SAP, but managed through their partners. And you can consider this model somewhat similar to NAV and GP on Azure, but obviously with a less capable application on their side. So this is where SAP came from. But with the enterprise market saturated and the mid-market and SMB not able to deliver on their growth ambitions, SAP really needs to find another way to drive growth. For that reason, a new CEO team set out a new goal to double the addressable market and touch more than 1 billion users by 2015. Now, they have really managed to re-energize the company around a new strategy to transition from a business application provider to a business platform company. This effectively means a huge shift in focus from solely focusing on business applications to now only have applications as one part of a much broader set of offerings. Let me give you a couple of highlights to help you understand better what they're trying to achieve. Across their acquisitions in the cloud space of Ariba and SuccessFactors, as well as the acquisition of the database and mobile company Sybase, SAP has now spent more than 12 billion euro to speed up this transition. Contrast that against SAP's annual revenue of 16 billion euros, and you can see that they're making a very dramatic move on their part. Now, unlike many of the acquisitions that we've done in MBS, SAP is not just folding in the solutions and offering it at no cost to customers. Instead, they're aggressively selling these solutions into their install base to drive up their wallet share. And that's exactly what customers should be expecting from SAP moving forward. The second point that's worth highlighting is the new focus on mobile. As a seller, you should be aware that SAP sellers are always leading with very glitzy demos of mobile applications on iPads to help reshape the image of their poor user experience. Now, obviously, their main user experience remains the same, and ours is significantly stronger. But it's really important that you also demo our great mobile apps to remain relevant in the conversation. We have a number of apps available in the store today, and we have some more coming, but I'll especially call out the Business Analyzer as a great demo tool that you can use today with the C-level suite as well as with the line of business executives. Now, another key point noting is database. We'll get back to this later, but SAP has continued to invest especially in the Sybase ASE database in order to make that good enough for the enterprise. And you can expect that SAP will push this as the low-cost alternative in new deals. Finally, SAP HANA. SAP has announced that they will power all of these technologies by their proprietary in-memory technology called HANA. We'll explore more about this later in the session. Now, we've just seen the transition that SAP is going through from a product focus, but this transition is actually starting to show up in their numbers too. Now, SAP remains the vendor to beat worldwide. They still have more than 17% market share, which is close to double what Oracle has, which obviously is significantly ahead of our market share of 2%. And looking at the A13 countries, these numbers only become even more significant. However, it's interesting to see that FY12 seemingly was a year of transition for SAP. This was the first year that more than half of their revenue came from support. It was the year where SAP really doubled down on their sales and marketing by growing it more than 27%. It's important for you to know that the majority of this investment went to hiring new FTEs, predominantly in emerging markets, and predominantly to focus on the new solution areas that we just discussed. The third category is FY14. Here, we're starting to see SAP showing signs of weakness. Following 12 consecutive quarters of double-digit growth, SAP are now seeing negative growth in both their core license and their core consulting business. Now, this is in part offset by growth predominantly from their support business. So when you're competing against SAP, you should therefore expect that their sellers will push even harder to get customers to sign off on their 22% price point for enterprise support. Now let's take a look at what SAP HANA is. HANA is SAP's proprietary in-memory technology. It's built on a SUSE Linux platform, and it's designed to hold hundreds of terabytes in memory. Being 100% in memory allows SAP HANA to offer very quick response times to both transactional and operational reports across very large data sets. So if that's SAP HANA from a technical point of view, let's take a look at what they have announced recently. Here, I can tell you that SAP is wasting absolutely no opportunity to talk up the HANA technology. As such, HANA is playing a very central role in all of their SAP events, all of their earnings calls, and in most of their press releases. Now, as we just discussed, SAP have announced that all of their technologies will be powered by HANA. They have gone beyond that to also put HANA in their own cloud, and they're partnering up with both Amazon Web Services as well as VMware to offer HANA in the cloud. Finally, SAP will be offering HANA as a completely separate platform for ISVs who are looking to offer data-intensive workloads. Now, from a positioning point of view, SAP has been seen to position HANA in pretty much all of the deals that they're in. And when doing this, you should expect SAP sellers to continue to leverage their existing enterprise sales motion and to position the technology directly to the line of business executives and the C-level suite. Specifically, you should expect sellers to position high-value business scenarios. These could be scenarios that would benefit from either fast transaction speeds or from large quantities of data. A couple of examples could be complex analytics, could be forecasting, or could be planning models. Now, from a sales tactics perspective, we've seen SAP sellers deploy a number of different sales tactics to ease the introduction of HANA. 1, offer Sybase at very low costs and promising a seamless transition to HANA. 2, offering free proof of concepts on the customer's premises together with hardware partners. 3, offering the ability for customers to redeploy unused shelf licenses over to HANA. And finally, we've seen them seeking to re-platform Windows Server customers over to SUSE Linux in order to ease the future transition over to HANA. So how should you respond? First and foremost, make sure you position our own capabilities at Microsoft. talk to the in-memory capabilities that we already have available today using Dynamics AX and SQL Power Pivot. Secondly, talk to how the server and tools team have announced that the next major version of SQL will be in-memory. Check out all the materials that they have available for a project called Project Hackathon. Now, after you have positioned our own capabilities and roadmap, seek to deposition SAP. Highlight that SAP on HANA is still SAP, just a more risky and expensive version. And you can use the following as proof points. First, when running the Business Suite on HANA, you get exactly the same challenges around lack of flexibility, worst-in-class user experience, poor TCO, etc. The only thing that really changed is the response time, and frequently that's not worth the cost. Secondly, HANA is really unproven. SAP has struggled getting enough partners and customers interested in HANA, and they have struggled with keeping these customers as references. An example of that is John Deere, which was their main marquee customer at launch. Today, they cannot be found as a reference on their site anymore. Thirdly, talk about the cost. HANA is a very expensive technology. It's priced on the size of the database, and it's sold in units of 64 gigabytes, each priced at more than 100K for database and more than 30K for analytics. So not only will the initial bill be high, it'll also grow over time. And these prices are only for the database. The customer will still need hardware, they'll still need to acquire Business Warehouse, and they'll still need to buy support. Now let's take a look at how we compete with SAP. We basically compete against SAP in two different scenarios. One is when the customer does not have SAP, and the second one is when the customer does have SAP. Let's take a look at each scenario, starting with the customers who do not already have SAP. What we see here generally is that the customers are looking to replace their existing SAP solution with a new one. And that could be a legacy Lawson, it could be IFS, it could be BAN, or it could be a local ERP solution. As such, they're looking for a complete replacement of their ERP end to end. Now, what should you expect from SAP in this scenario? You can basically expect SAP sellers to go past IT and engage in solution sales to the top management directly. Sometimes also with support from their value engineers that will help build out the return on investment and the business case for why SAP is a good idea. A key tactic of theirs is to benchmark the KPIs of your prospect with that of their other customers and then make the case for how your prospect can get to the same KPIs if they adopt the same business solution. You should also expect that they'll position Business All-in-One with specific industry or fast start templates to promise faster implementation of what they call best practices. In addition to this, you should expect that they will play on their strengths around the depth and the breadth of their functionality, around all of their industry references, and their brand. We've also seen several examples of SAP sellers making a case for how the valuation of the customer itself will be higher if they buy SAP versus buying all the solutions. Finally, we've seen them plant lots of FUD around AX references, the capability to grow, depth of functionality, and whether Microsoft is really serious about ERP. So how should you engage? To help establish credibility with the line of business leaders and the C-level suite, we recommend that you start by positioning the vision of the dynamic business. It's a great way to leverage our relationship to IT to break into the line of business early in the sales cycle. Some of the key topics that the line of business execs and the C-level suite will care about include the importance of keeping their business agile, getting more value from their existing investments in Microsoft technology, and the improved business productivity that comes from our user experience. Secondly, you should make sure that you position all of Microsoft, not just AX, for the industry that you're competing in, and make sure you combine that with the specific IP available for that specific vertical. And that IP could come in the form of partner expertise, or it could be actual IP or software from an ISV. Now, this scenario is typically driven by partners together with Microsoft support, depending on the size. The second scenario that we see, and one that we meet increasingly, is the scenario where customers are already running SAP. But for a number of reasons, they have not rolled it out end to end. Some of these key reasons include the lack of flexibility of the SAP solution, the SAP solution having a poor fit to smaller divisions or subsidiaries, the SAP solution being very expensive to roll out, and finally, the poor user experience of the SAP solution. So instead of rolling out SAP end-to-end, what customers will typically do is to adopt, develop, or acquire a number of third-party apps that then needs to be integrated to SAP, and more importantly, that needs to be maintained over time. Now, while this model can produce short-term agility, on the long term, it really drains IT budgets, it introduces risk, and it ultimately can paralyze companies by preventing them from executing broader business strategies. So what should you expect from SAP? When we engage these companies, we should absolutely expect SAP sellers to keep selling it against us, leveraging their strong relationships to the C-level suite and to the line of business executives. We have seen how they will offer to reposition shelfware that the customer already has against the new specific business pain that the customer is trying to solve. We've also seen examples of where SAP will offer broader discounts across the entire existing contract if the customer rolls out more SAP instead of other platforms. Finally, they'll throw a lot of FUD against Dynamics, questioning the value of supporting multiple platforms, sowing doubts around whether AX is really ready for the enterprise, etc., etc. So how should you engage? Well, most of these companies have already invested hundreds of millions of dollars in putting SAP in place, and they will have very large centers of excellence and advocates for SAP inside the company. Hence, they're not willing to entertain a conversation around replacing SAP at all. To compete effectively in this scenario, you should position Microsoft Dynamics AX as a solution for specific operational business scenarios, as well as to consolidate their custom applications. This approach helps provide the business with increased agility, and it lowers both risk, maintenance, and operational costs from an IT perspective. From a competitive standpoint, this approach also lets you position key differentiators against SAP, including lower TCO, faster time to value, increased flexibility, better user experience, and generally a better fit. More often than not, these scenarios will actually not be considered traditional ERP, but they will start as a workload, such as a billing solution, could be planned operations, could be expense management, could be supporting a sales subsidiary, etc. From an engagement perspective, typically these organizations will already be managed by a Microsoft account manager. You should make sure to team up with them to ensure complete alignment in the sales cycle. So we basically compete with SAP in two different scenarios. One is when the customer does not already have SAP, and the other one is when the customer already has SAP. We start with the first one. Many mid-market companies are discovering that they have outgrown their existing business solutions. They're actively looking for a new solution to help them meet their evolving requirements and to drive further growth. A lot of these organizations are looking to either SAP or to Microsoft Dynamics AX for an ERP solution that can be deployed end-to-end across all of their business processes. In these scenarios, we recommend that you position Dynamics AX as an integrated industry solution in the context of our comprehensive dynamic business vision. This approach lets you talk about the rich set of differentiating capabilities, deep focus on our 5 specific industries, interoperability with the entire Microsoft stack, our global network of locally based Microsoft technology partners who can add industry expertise and assist with customization, deployment, and maintenance. But due to the resources, time, cost, and employee strain, and as well as a number of other limitations, most customers are not running SAP wall-to-wall today. As a matter of fact, in most companies, including Microsoft, only a small fraction of employees are using SAP. Instead of SAP, these customers have deployed and integrated dozens or even hundreds of separate applications to support individual business processes, business units, or geographies. This complex environment can be difficult, inefficient, and expensive to operate and maintain for the IT department, but more importantly, it has led to the inability to implement changes in the overall business strategy. To compete effectively in this scenario, we recommend that you position Dynamics AX as a solution for specific operational business scenarios and/or to consolidate custom applications. This approach helps provide the business with increased agility, it lowers risk, and it reduces operational costs from an IT perspective. From a competitive standpoint, this approach also lets you position key differentiators versus SAP, including lower total cost of ownership, faster time to value, improved flexibility, better user experience, scalability, and other capabilities that differentiate Microsoft Dynamics AX. More often than not, these scenarios will not be considered a traditional ERP solution, but they will start as a billing solution, could be a solution for plant operations, for expense management, for sales subsidiaries, and so on. And here's a real-life example. This is a cosmetics company that's a worldwide leader in their space. Now, they have attempted to standardize on both SAP and Oracle, but the organization was simply too complex and it changed too quickly to allow for a single, rigid package to support them over time. So after spending literally millions of dollars, they've been forced to abandon both of these rollouts and have over time added and integrated more than 500 different apps, including 21 different ERP systems. This approach effectively paralyzed the company and prevented them from getting an easy overview of all of their key numbers, as well as prevented them from executing on new key strategies. In addition to this, it cost them millions of dollars to support, and it came with high risk due to the constant upgrades of all of these smaller apps. Now, in our experience, pretty much all SAP customers will look like this, and we can vouch for that ourselves. Microsoft is running SAP for Financials. We have more than 100,000 licenses, but it's really only the inner circle of the inner circle in finance that really has core access to the SAP system. The rest of us use a ton of third-party applications and custom code that we're now in the process of consolidating onto AX. And this, obviously, to the great satisfaction of both users, our IT team, and our CFO. So let's take a look at why customers are using AX specifically. Looking at our win reports versus SAP, here are the top 6 areas where we consistently beat SAP across both of these scenarios. The first one is user experience and productivity. Now, AX works like and with other Microsoft products that the customer will already have. That not only speeds up adoption, it also boosts everyday productivity and it boosts user satisfaction. Now contrast that against SAP's core user experience, which most customers will attest to is very poor, and it's also very difficult to modify. Point number 2, simply powerful. The massive size of SAP makes it way too large for most organizations, and certainly for most divisions and subsidiaries. AX, in contrast, offers a very powerful set of functionality, but in a significantly smaller and a lot more nimble package. The third point is around agile technology. AX is arguably one of the most agile technology sets in the market today, and SAP is likely one of the least flexible in the market today. This dramatic difference gets reflected in a faster time to value, both initially and as requirements change. And this actually makes AX a very powerful tool for the C-level suite, but it's often a conversation that we only have with IT. Point number 4, analytics. AX offers built-in self-service BI and strong support for tools like Excel and SQL Server analysis services, both of which are tools that the finance teams already prefer to work with. SAP, in contrast, will require that customers license and use expensive BI solutions like BW, Business Warehouse, and HANA. Point number 5 is around choice, and there are really 3 main things that I want you to be aware of. The first one is around licensing. AX offers you multiple ways to license, including both subscription models and just adding AX to their enterprise agreement. The second thing is around support. Here we get a lot of credit from analysts who have called out that the choice and the flexibility in the AX support models is really industry best practice. Finally, we have a lot of deployment models, now including the option to deploy on Windows Azure. Point number 6 is around total cost of ownership. AX is not only less cost to acquire, but also to maintain and modify over time. This is in part due to licensing, but to an even larger extent due to the combination of all the factors that we just went through. Now let's take a look at the top 5 areas that have proven effective to address when competing against SAP. In this section, we'll provide you with a high-level overview, but we actually have a separate course online available on this topic that will go into a lot more depth. Let's jump into it. The first area is complexity. You should make sure that the customer understands that SAP is a huge application. It consists of more than 250 billion code lines, more than 60,000 screens, and more than 60,000 tables out of the box, even before you start adding customer data or custom code. Now, this sheer size, in combination with the monolithic architecture of the application, really means that SAP consultants need to specialize in a very small part of the application to really be effective. And for the customer, that translates into longer project timelines, higher cost and risk, as each project will require a large number of specialists, and as each of these specialists needs to be orchestrated to work as one. Now, in contrast, AX is a significantly more nimble application, which really translates into smaller project teams and frequently much lower costs and a lot lower risk. Now, a great proof point of this is to compare the initial size of the demo teams across AX and SAP. Make sure that the customer understands that the large number of SAP representatives in the meetings are not really a showcase of the customer's importance, but really a requirement on their side in order to demo. And make sure that the customer understands that this will translate directly into the project and it'll translate directly into project costs. The second point is around agility. The complexity of SAP also significantly impacts the agility of the solution. But in addition to this, SAP's proprietary development language called ABAP really dates back to COBOL, which was developed back in the 1960s. This means that there is no support for modern development concepts like inheritance, which again further makes the customization and coding very complex and time-consuming. Contrast that against AX layered architecture and support for the modern X++ and C# development languages. A good proof point here is to demo how to make changes in AX and to encourage that customers make UX modifications as a requirement in the demo. The third area is TCO. In addition to the impact that the large project teams and the long implementation times have on TCO, customers will also find that SAP's pricing and support model is designed to make the solutions more and more expensive over time. SAP does this in three main ways. First, some of their user types, such as the limited professional user, is designed around a very narrow use case. And when the customer over time expands their user requirements, they'll be forced to buy the very expensive enterprise user, but this time without any discounting. Secondly, over and above the per-user price model, SAP will sell much of their industry functionality based on specific industry metrics. This means that as the customer grows, they will need to pay higher prices for the software as well as the corresponding support. Finally, make sure the customer understands that SAP has clauses in their contracts that allows them to adjust the maintenance base with an inflation multiplier, which can increase the cost of maintenance with up to 5% every year. Now contrast that against AX's transparent and low-cost price and maintenance model, and it should be clear to the customer that AX offers significantly better TCO. The fourth area is user experience. Here, I want to make you aware that SAP's user experience is more or less a reflection of the data model, which again is one of the key drivers for the many clicks that most tasks in SAP require. Further, you should know that it's very hard to modify the SAP user experience as it typically requires coding and hence partner involvement. Again, contrast that against AX's user experience that looks and works like other Microsoft products, that offers 86 roles out of the box, and which is very easily modified, sometimes even by the user. Last but not least, make sure that you position One Microsoft. We've covered look and feel for the users, but the value of being a part of the Microsoft family extends beyond the users. It also goes into the IT team, who will be able to reuse many of the skills that they have from other Microsoft solutions. Finally, did you know that Microsoft invests more than $9.5 billion in R&D every year? And all of this innovation Dynamics gets to build on. SAP is just starting their transition to becoming a business platform company. We're way ahead. We invest more, and we get the benefit from also having consumer applications such as Skype. So now that we've covered some of the key areas where you can go on the offense against SAP, let's take a look at how you respond to some of their common sales tactics. Here, the first one that we see is around customer evidence. SAP generally will claim that they have more industry references and hint that they have more customers than Microsoft Dynamics AX. There are a couple of key ways that you should consider responding. First, talk about dynamics. Make sure the customer is aware that with our more than 18,000 customers, we actually have more customers than SAP Business All-in-One. However, because we have a through partner strategy, our references traditionally have been captured by our partners. Then talk about SAP. Inform the customer that SAP's time in and share of the market has led to a large number of satisfied customers, but it has also led to a large number of dissatisfied customers, and many of these case studies can be found online on our Infopedia and our partner source websites. The second point is around functionality. Here, SAP will actively try and seek out the feature fight. To counter, make sure that the customer focuses on their actual requirements, and make sure that you highlight that excess functionality leads to both complexity and cost. For example, check out the store.sap.com website. SAP will focus on the number of ISV solutions that we require, so make sure that the customer understands that both solutions will require ISV IP, but that AX is actually designed ground up to work very well with ISVs, whereas SAP is not. The third topic is around pricing, and there are really two key areas that I want you to understand. The first one is that SAP will offer easy per user pricing, but with complex rules and add-ons. The reality is that their price list is 120 pages long, and that in a recent survey of their user group, a full 90% of their users claimed not to understand the pricing model. Contrast that against AX's price model, which is easy and transparent. And make sure the customer understands that we have a number of different pricing options, including enterprise agreement, the Dynamics price list, and subscription licensing models. The second area in pricing that you should be aware of is that SAP will offer fixed price, fixed scope projects. Here, highlight that partners can staff the projects with trainee resources and that they have been known to push a significant amount of work on the customer, and they have been known to focus very narrowly on completing the implementation instead of meeting customer requirements. The fourth area is support. SAP will highlight their certified support engineers and claim that they offer high quality support. You should highlight that very few of their partners are actually certified, that there are cheat sheets available for their exams online, and that the SAP contracts has built-in inflation adjustments, which will keep the cost of support growing. Again, contrast that against all the praise that AX has received from having separate maintenance and support offers. Highlight that we offer full transparency in our pricing and support models, and that we have a protected list price. The last point is around rapid implementation. SAP will claim that fast start and rapid deployment solutions, RDS, offer faster implementation and better time to value than AX. Here, highlight that SAP rapid deployment solutions have received very mixed feedback from analysts. Let the customer know that according to SAP, their best practice templates on average only fit up to 72% of the customer's requirements, and that they remain a challenge to modify. Remember, it's still an enterprise level product. Then talk about Dynamics. AX is significantly more agile than SAP, which results in shorter time to value. Highlight that SureStep offers a proven implementation methodology, and finally, that Rapid Starts offers rapid implementation based on the customer's processes, not on rigid best practices templates. So if you're a Microsoft team member, you can go to Infopedia to find more information around SAP Compete. I also strongly encourage you to join our Yammer group to continue the conversation. If you're a partner, you should go to Partner Source, and you can navigate to the compete information by clicking on Sales and then Compete Information.
And with that, I'd like to thank all of you for joining this time today. Please make sure, if you need more information, that you go to our SAP Compete section on Partner Source, or if you're a member of our field, you should check out our SAP Compete site on Infopedia and join the conversation on our SAP Compete Yammer site. Thanks a lot.
Welcome back. Our partners are a vital part of our AX marketing, and I'm thrilled to see so many of you registered for this event. Thank you very much. The next 90 days will see a whole range of activities roll out in preparation for the R3 launch. This includes other ways to help get you ready for launch, as well as activities to build excitement among your customers. I've asked Emily Stone from our marketing team to give us a brief overview of how you can get involved and where you can find more information about our launch plans. Let's take a look. Take it away, Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily Stone, and I look after Microsoft Dynamics partner marketing worldwide. The release of Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 is a significant one for both Microsoft and for our partners. It provides us with some fantastic talking points with our existing customers and prospects, and gives us the opportunity to strike up compelling conversations with net new organisations. Today, I'll be taking you through my initial top tips for marketing managers in how to successfully take the new product to market. Let's get started. So you need to define how the new product impacts your value proposition and the solution that you're able to offer to customers. What new USPs does it offer to your customers and prospects? What new conversations does it enable you to go out and have? As marketing manager, you can lead this messaging within your business and ensure that all your telesales and sales team are clear on this updated messaging too. For example, to give you an example, you may have heard about the fantastically exciting new warehouse management system functionality in Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. But what does this really mean for the businesses that you talk to? Well, for any of your customers who are distributors of products, today's customers are very, very demanding. They want to be able to track their orders, order online, pick up in store. They want visibility and convenience at every step of the way. This is extremely hard for businesses to set up, and generally it's really pretty expensive. Warehouse Management Solution enables customers to do that. We're putting that functionality straight into our product, so it's available right inside AX. No additional effort or investment for you to implement. And because it's all part of your core business solution, when your customer makes any changes to it, it's automatically mapped to everything else. For example, stock levels or price changes. It's all part of your customer's ability to provide a fantastic experience to their customers. So secondly, I'll talk about marketing the new messages and value that Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 brings to your existing customers. As I touched on in the last slide, we now live in a world where customers have a huge amount of power and very high expectations of the service that's provided to them. Research shows that despite the understanding that most marketers have around the importance of concentrating on customer retention, there still tends to be a far higher focus on customer acquisition. The release of a new product is a great point in time for you to revisit your existing customer strategy and make sure it's strong and integrated into the rest of your marketing. So, based on the analysis that you do of the market opportunity that AXR3 brings, you can then assess which of your customers are prime for the upgrade message. Invite these customers to Convergence. Convergence will be the event where customers can find out more about what's coming and where you can really sell them the value. Last year, 60% of Convergence attendees made purchases within 6 months of attending. The return on investment for you to host your customers at Convergence is proven. After Convergence, why not run a customer day or customer roundtable event? We will be delivering a massive amount of content that you can use for an event with customers. AX 2012 R3 BDM deck, industry decks, sales demos and videos. We'll be providing event-in-a-box materials such as email invite templates and banners for you to advertise an event around R3. We also have industry versions of these items too, so that you can use them as templates to run industry-focused customer roundtables and events. These are all available on the brand new PartnerSource site, which was launched only as I'm recording this in early January. I've included a screenshot of where you can find the industry materials here. You just need to navigate to Sales and Marketing on PartnerSource and then click through to the FY14 Dynamic Business Campaign banner right at the top. The new PartnerSource is much easier to navigate, with tile experience matching the ms.com Dynamics websites. Search functionality has also been greatly improved, so I'd really recommend going on and taking a look around and exploring the site. Thirdly, I'd like to focus on communicating the new messages and value that Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 brings in your inbound marketing. I'd recommend that you update the content on your existing website and digital assets and make sure that the materials you have up there are current and in line with the new messaging and value proposition. It's a really worthwhile investment to make sure your website is optimized for viewing on a mobile device. Business decision makers are often doing their research or searching the web on the go during their commute, for example, and outside of office hours. According to Search Engine Land research, around 90% of mobile searches lead to action. In terms of content that you can use, we're creating videos that you can use actually on your website. All our videos are posted up on the Microsoft Dynamics YouTube channel. YouTube enables you to easily embed videos into your website. All of our new content and links to the content will be posted on the launch page of the new PartnerSource, so make sure you have that page saved in your favourites. Some partners have seen success by creating a specific landing page to drive prospects to advertise the new product, so you might want to think about that. You can use a combination of both your own content and Microsoft content to bulk up this landing page if you so wish. Make sure that all your sales team know and are aware of what the top key USPs are of Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 for your offering, and that they can articulate it to any prospect who calls up or who they're meeting with. And here's where you can find the Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 launch portal on Partner Source. You navigate to the AX product page from the home page, then AX 2012 R3 launch portal. And I've also included the link to our Microsoft Dynamics channel on YouTube, which you'll also want to save to your favourites as well. And finally, I'd like to focus on utilising the Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 product launch in your outbound marketing. We've produced a blog series for Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3 on the communities site that you can link to from your own digital assets. Look at integrating those blogs into your social calendar where it makes sense. We're also producing a partner template to use with the blogs so that you're able to add in your own partner point of view and then share on your own websites. The link to the blogs and the blog schedule plus the partner template will all be available on the launch portal on Partner Source. Use the content that we're producing as part of the launch, like the blogs, videos, white papers, in your nurture program. Drip feed these pieces of high-value content into your nurture database. Be creative about the content that you create yourselves. Why not engage an agency to produce a cool industry infographic? Talk to your local subsidiary's Dynamics marketing team about which agencies make sense for you to work with. I'd also urge you to join my Microsoft Dynamics Marketing and Branding Yammer group for managed partners, where I'll be sharing anything new that comes out in regards to marketing information for the launch, and where I post the daily top social posts to share. Please email me if you're not already a member and I can add you to the group. In addition, we'll be running a global online experience to launch the product, and there'll be an opportunity for you to leverage this event for your own marketing. We'll be offering you the ability to syndicate the event on your own websites, providing you with the opportunity for you to capture those visitors and convert to possible leads. More information on the syndication opportunity and the steps to take will come in the next Blitz session. The event will also be recorded and materials will be made available after the event, so you can use those for your own in-person events if you choose to run one. Stay tuned. So in terms of calls to action, I'd urge you to join my Marketing Yammer group. Please save the Partner Source AX launch page in your favourites so that you're easily able to access, and begin to start building your launch plans for Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. Please contact me if you have any questions or comments. Here's my email address. Thank you so much for your time, and let's make sure we work together to make this launch a huge success.
This wraps it up for part 1 of our AX 2012 R3 Training Blitz. I'd like to thank you all for spending your time with us. This is a true partnership, and we really could not do this without you. I hope you found this event both interesting and informative, and that you took the opportunity to ask questions of all our R3 experts. Above all, I hope you got a sense of how deeply committed we are to this product and to the success of this particular launch. Don't forget that if you missed any of today's broadcast, you can replay it on demand from the same event lobby that you logged into today. My thanks go out to our expert presenters, many of whom will be back in part 2 of our Training Blitz in February. And all of this just really scratches the surface of what you're going to see over the next coming months. Make sure you sign up for the next phase of this training and stay tuned for more announcements at Convergence and beyond. Thank you very much.